Hello, friends. You're now listening to the lifestyle, leisure, and sports show you never knew was two of those things.
I think we can all acknowledge that if this fails, you two will be fired and I will remain. So, no pressure.
Bo Bishop, a regional media icon, winner of Emmys, purveyor of the good life.
Sir, you don't know that for a fact.
I just said it on the radio.
Also, two guys this company named Employee of the Month.
What are you talking about?
Paul Hogan is Hulk Hogan's brother. Look it up.
Because it's Hulk Hogan. That's his real name.
One guy is from Australia. The other one is from Tampa.
You mean he's from Hollywood, brother?
Not brothers. Chops.
Yes, they are.
This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, let's do it live on a Friday edition of the program. Bo and the boys with you for the next three. Paul Finebaum dropping by at 9:33 on a mammoth day in college athletics. A little guy you may have heard of named James Laurinaitis going to drop by at 10 o'clock. Doug Lesmerises, 11:33. What we learned coming up at 11 o'clock on what is going to be a wild day in college athletics as all of this stuff is starting to come to fruition. And some of the comments on it are just absolutely classical. What the hope is and how various administrators are hoping this can be some Band-Aid on a hemorrhage. We will see, and we will go over some of that as it goes along. And will the NFL play nice? I don't know. They're not incentivized to, at least not financially, but big picture, will they play nice with college football going forward? Questions to be answered over the course of the next three. Take a look at the night last night as well. Is this the best Friday of the year? Is this the most taken off Friday of the year? Or is it Thanksgiving Friday? Thanksgiving Friday, you get off.
Taken off, yes. Best, no. That's still 4th of July weekend.
Regardless of when 4th of July falls?
Yes.
The summer holidays actually don't really do it for me because I've done the show every year for like 5 years on all of them. I don't know why. Because it gets off at noon. Nothing else. Nobody has plans before noon. I just do the show, get off at noon, boom, pick up my comp day. So I don't really view these weekends as holiday weekends for me.
This was a big one. This was a big one for me going back as a kid. This was the one. For some reason, my dad, I don't know why, because obviously Father's Day is coming, but he kind of had carte blanche on Memorial Day. And so this was one of those things where you packed in, you put the horses in the horse trailer, and you go deep into the woods. This is that type of a situation. We did it every year. We'd camp out, and it's campfires, it's hot dogs, always hot dogs. It never did the burgers. I don't know if they were just too hard to make, but it was always hot dogs, potato salad, out of the just from the grocery store, like the Kroger yellow potato salad. That would be it. He would suck down some High Lifes. We'd suck down a pop every once in a while. He'd give you a taste of the High Life, and that was kind of the way that it went. But it is, this is the best one for me because of the summer holidays. It's the best because what's coming? You have summer to look forward to.
It's all in front of you.
In this climate, we've had a really nice, honestly for us, a really nice spring. You'd be critical of the rain from time to time, but it's inevitable. It's been a pretty good spring. We had a pretty good month of May. This weekend is going to be pretty good. It's solid. And so Memorial Day, you get a chance to look ahead to the next couple of months of what's coming. And for us with the kids, these are kind of the only 2 months where they're sort of off, because they get right back into it at the end of July. NBC going to go into 7th grade playing middle school football. So that hits right at the end of July. So you've got kind of a 2-month window here where you can be a little bit footloose and fancy-free. I will say, I don't know what to do with my hands with the notion that the Memorial Tournament is not next week.
That's going to be weird for sure.
It's strange now. It's, for since 2007, you have Memorial Day weekend, and then Tuesday you go to Muirfield Village. When I was doing at Channel 10, we were there from then on. Monday night on, we were there. But Tuesday, we were all up there for the rest of the week until Sunday night. And here, we were always broadcasting Thursday and Friday from the Memorial Tournament. And it's just one of those things where I keep thinking to myself, okay, we're headed out there next week, but we're not. And I've always said it's the unofficial start of summer in Central Ohio is the Memorial Tournament. The unofficial start of spring is the spring game. Unofficial start of summer is the Memorial Tournament, and we got to wait a week for it, and I don't really know what to do with my hands.
Yeah, because it's weird because it's three factions of strange. It's strange right now knowing that the Memorial's not going to be at the end of next week. It's going to be strange when you get to the end of next week and it's just you have the holiday on Monday, but you don't get that boost of the extra holiday, or at least feeling like it with the Memorial here in Central Ohio. It feels like another holiday right off the bat. And then the week after, it will actually happen, and that will be weird too. So it's 3 different times in a week or 2-week period or so that's going to feel weird.
The Memorial Tournament and its move from next weekend or the weekend after Memorial Day to where it is now kind of feels like the college football playoff. Give it 2 years and then they might move it again. Has there been no concrete evidence to say that they won't monkey with that, the scheduling of it? Because if the PGA wants to do it, it's been shown that, we'll play.
Well,
I don't think they should.
No, AR had Dan Sullivan on, and it could just be my own laziness. Does anyone know? Do you guys know off the top of your head why they moved it?
Doesn't have to do with the U.S. Open.
They wanted it the week before the U.S. Open.
So this is at their request.
Event.
Is that the way you guys understand it? That it's the PGA wanted it before the U.S. Open.
Again, my understanding of it.
It was kind of perfectly located 2 weeks between. Now I saw they got Scottie coming, and we'll get to him in a second. Believe we had that last Friday, Reese, the correct read on that. I think the video evidence has proven that we were
just turn on your cameras, spot. Guys. Hit the on button.
It went kind of the way we thought on that one. But yeah, so I saw Scotty's there. That's really cool. And Dan announcing that with AR and Maddie yesterday was very cool. So but it's odd to me that it's not next week. So you're kind of in this, I'm kind of in this in-between thing where my kids go to school next week, sort of. Field day for Beamsy today. I don't even know what NBC's doing. I think he's playing golf this afternoon. I have no clue. Bootsy had baseball day yesterday, so that was his big contribution to society. Today it was another game day, so I don't know what they're doing. It's just nonsense at this point.
Not learning, that's for sure.
No, we're long past that. And I don't blame the teachers. They pushed the chips in. They had 2 months of OST prep. So, they're past that, and so that's fine with them. By the way, you are wearing, Chopper, an Adidas logoed T-shirt today. Mm-hmm. And for the life of me, so that is the old trifoil one. I don't understand why they ever went away from that logo.
Well, and if you see, it doesn't say Adidas. This is where I got
Chicago,
the shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I got this actually on spring break of my senior year of high school. So this is one that's now back in the rotation after all the weight loss.
What is is that the oldest piece of clothing you still have?
Of my own. I have a few Rose Bowl T-shirts from the 80s that I stole from my dad. But I think it's probably the oldest I own, other than some Centerville football T-shirts that I just still have from back in the day. But those are probably back in my parents' house. So it's probably the oldest shirt that I keep in my closet. And I always kept it there, just wishful thinking.
Well, and now you've done it.
Yep.
It's a hell of a job out of you. Reese, what's the oldest piece of clothing you have? That you could wear tomorrow? I
think I have an Upper Arlington football shirt circa 2005.
That's pretty good.
It has a great many holes.
That's awesome. I definitely still have my high school doesn't exist anymore, but I definitely have a Bulldog Athletics. It said 1995 and then 32. I definitely have that somewhere in this house.
Does it have an XXL on it?
No.
Why did they used to put that on sweatshirts?
I don't know. They wanted everybody. I don't know. Everyone had to be big. I don't know how to make sense of it. But it was the standard issue. You get this, and there you go. That's your workout shirt for the year. That's the one you go to gym class with. I'm going to be candid with you guys. I'm not staying up for double overtime hockey. I didn't see it. We didn't see the game winner. Saw McDavid got it this morning. I think that's really cool for the sport that he got it. And the fact that Edmonton win. I'm pulling for Edmonton, Florida. I'm sorry, Edmonton, New York. That's what I'm pulling for is
Rangers
and Oilers.
I like the first one you had.
Because then you win.
Yeah.
Well, you both are going to win. You're both fine. But I like the idea of Edmonton. I want to see Edmonton and the Rangers. I think I like the big scene of it all, so I'm kind of rooting for that one. So I didn't see it. I did watch Celtics and Pacers. I had it kind of on, paying attention. I never thought the Pacers were a threat. That series, I think, is going to go pretty quickly,
especially with Halliburton in question now with the hamstring.
Yeah, he could be done for the series. So that's going to be the Celtics are going to have probably the easiest waltz to the finals. There was one where Shaq and Kobe went sweep. Before they lost game 1 to the Sixers in the early 2000s.
That's the step-over game?
That's the step-over game. Yeah, when Iverson steps... No. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, we steps over Ty Lue, right?
No. I remember that. I'm just trying to remember if game 1 was in Philly or LA that year. I can't remember how they did if they did it on overall record or if, they must have. So it would have been in LA. That had to be it. But that was the only game they lost. LA won the next 4 and they lost 1 game that entire postseason. I do not think the Celtics are the Shaq Kobe Lakers, but I do think this is about the easiest path anyone could ever have to the finals. The one thing I did want to bring up though is the TNT hockey intermission show. So it's really good. Liam McHugh runs it. Paul Bissonnette is a star, and I think they know it. I think they know he's a star. So he does the Barstool stuff, right, with Ryan Whitney? Like they're together.
Yeah, he's spitting chiclets.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he's crushing it. It's really smart of them that they found somebody who is very comfortable being outspoken, talking about the sport and letting his passion bleed through, because it comes through the screen. It's amazing how TNT just has this feel for hiring studio people. Like they just crush it. Like I love Messier too, and he's on the ESPN one with Booch, but like that's the one. It's McHugh and Bissonnette, and he's so good that I'm sitting here watching this thing, and they're breaking it down, and you don't even really, I don't even really realize until they go to toss to break that it's Wayne flippin' Gretzky who's sitting to his right. Like Gretzky's just sitting there. Gretzky didn't say anything for the entire 2.5-minute little mini hit they had. Gretzky didn't say a word.
Great one doesn't have to say anything.
He's just sitting there.
All I got to do is just show up.
It's crazy.
Well, I think maybe TNT has a knack for it because they know, and I'm thinking specifically of the worldwide leader here, they have to repurpose their guys and put them everywhere. And so they're going on this studio show. Then they have to be on First Take. Then they have to be on Get Up. Then they might do a spot on Greeny's radio show. Whereas the TNT guys, it's like, okay, these are the nights that we have games. Here's where we'll need you guys in studios and for the games. That's it.
Yeah. He's good. He's really good. And their production is, I wish they were on the road. I think then you'd get some real juice out of it. But I understand why you wouldn't want to take a studio show to Edmonton. But I do think that there's that those guys do a very, very good job. Tonight you're going to have Western Conference Finals Game 2, Mavs and T-Wolves. That one in Minnesota. That's an 8:30 TNT tip on that. Still nothing official, by the way, on the NBA stuff. Like it's been widely reported that TNT is going to be aced out, but we still haven't seen anything on it. On the NHL side of things, it'll be Panthers and Rangers tonight at 8 there. It's done. Pay for play is here. About 1 billion questions that come after that, including, okay, now who's going to get the money here of the $20 million? And I think what the NCAA, well, I know what the NCAA is hoping and what the presidents are hoping is that this will lead to an antitrust exemption. Not so fast, my friends. Lots in play here. We get to it coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Winners of the prestigious Platinum Microphone Award every year, given to the best radio station in the world. No need to look it up. It's real. The Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, you don't just want to be a utility player in the bedroom. You want to be the MVP. That's why you need to check out BlueChew.com. If you don't already know about Blue Chew, well, now's the perfect time to find out more because Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in chewable form and at a fraction of the cost. Blue Chew is an online prescription service, so you don't have to go to a doctor's office. There's no awkward conversations. They find out what you need. They ship it right to your door in a discreet package, and it's all made in the USA, so they can prepare and ship it directly to you, which saves you money. And I'm going to help you save more money with promo code BONE. That's right. Try Blue Chew free when you use promo code BONE at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. I mean, look, we made the promo code BONE because we don't want the promo code to be hard. We want, well, you get the idea. BlueChew.com, promo code BONE right now to get your first month of Blue Chew free.
At Take 5, we're faster than you think. That means we'll change your oil and have you back on the road faster than it takes for your fancy designer half-calf, heavy cream, no-whip, mocha latte to get cold. Just sit back and relax while our fast, friendly team does all the work. Take 5, the stay-in-your-car 10-minute oil change.
Hi, this is Bob Capacci. Worthington Jewelers has done it again. Come see our new collection of Glock watches at Worthington Jewelers, where Columbus gets engaged.
Hey,
Hey, it's Anthony from my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin. You know what Rich is up to? He's got Memorial Day sales going all month long. Interest rates starting as low as 1.90% on the 2024s. The Civic LX sedan, the Accord LX sedan, and CRV LX two-wheel drives. And he's going to throw you an extra $1,000 for your trade. He wants to give you the best deal in town, and you will not be disappointed. Germain Honda of Dublin is my Honda dealer in Central Ohio, and hopefully yours on Sawmill Parkway just south of 270.
Sunday is a time for brunching with your favorite people. And when they don't invite you, listen to us instead. Fan Sports Sunday with Tito and Dabir Posey.
Sunday morning starting at 11.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Every so often in medicine, something comes along that is truly revolutionary.
Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, former orthopedic surgeon, now national medical director at QC Kinetics.
I believe this is one of those things.
Dr. Scheinkup is talking about regenerative medicine, something he's practiced, researched, and written about for nearly 2 decades.
The old ways of dealing with joint pain, such as steroids and surgery, are no longer the best ways.
If you have pain from arthritis or injury, you owe it to yourself to learn more about this exciting option, using your own body's natural power to get lasting relief. And there's no better place to learn than QC Kinetics.
There is no one in this country today with more clinics, more satisfied patients, more advanced protocols, or more experience in using this exciting option to deliver life-changing results.
Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
This is the sound of a popular American motorcycle. It's the sound of freedom, the open road, really good times. And this is what it sounds like with a drunk guy in it. How do you like the sound of that? Cops are cracking down on drunk motorcycle riders. If you ride drunk, you will get caught and you will get arrested. Drunk riding. Over the limit, under arrest. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Transportation.
Have you experienced foot or ankle pain during or after sports, running, or exercising at the gym? Nagging aches in your foot or ankle that won't go away? Podiatric physicians can provide you with important foot care solutions, shoe inserts, or show you how to support your feet and ankles so you're able to compete or exercise comfortably. Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association podiatric physicians are located throughout the state and have been serving the profession and the public for over 100 years. For more information or to find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit ohiofoot.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Heading out the door today, we're looking at temperatures around 70. It should be a nice travel day today with a high of 83. Saturday, expect a few pop-up storms, high 82. Sunday, expect some widespread rain with a few isolated storms, high 84. And then on Monday, expect clouds in the morning, increasing sunshine by the afternoon with a high of 78. I'm Doppler 10 meteorologist Dylan Robichaud on 97.1 The Fan.
Tipico Sportsbook is the exclusive online sportsbook partner of Bishop & Friends. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Taking the art of sports radio and day drinking to a whole new level. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Well, the playoff action is certainly here. There's not a more rewarding sports book in the game than our great friends at Tipico. Get ready to bet on the biggest games of the year, playoff hockey, the hoops. It's every night. If you want to make the most of every game, you've got to bet with Tipico. You're going to get the 5% cash back on your bets. Enjoy the highest cash back in the industry with the most rewarding sports book. Here you do. You claim that new sign-up bonus now. You get $150 in protected bets and you deposit $100. Sign up now. Enter the promo code TheFan150 to get your bonus. Download the Tipico Sportsbook app today. Must be 21 or older, physically located in Ohio. Terms and conditions do apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER for more. Paul Finebaum coming up in about 15 minutes. It's done. The NCAA and its leagues are moving forward with a multi-billion-dollar agreement to settle 3 pending federal antitrust cases. The NCAA will pay more than $2.7 billion in damages over the past 10 years due to past and current athletes. This, according to everybody. The parties have agreed to a revenue-sharing plan, allowing each school to share up to roughly $20 million per year with its athletes. All Division I athletes dating back to 2016 are eligible to receive a share of the settlement class. In exchange, athletes can not sue the NCAA for other potential antitrust violations and drop their complaints in 3 open cases. So that's the one we're talking about here: House versus NCAA, Hubbard versus NCAA, Carter versus NCAA. So Judge Claudia Wilkin is overseeing this. She's presiding over all 3 of the cases. The process will take several months. Revenue sharing will not be this fall, but it'll be the following fall. The key to this is that you would agree to drop their complaints in 3 open cases, all of the ones that she is after. There's a lot of loopholes in this. One antitrust attorney tells ESPN that the deal could unravel if athletes opt out to join separate and pending antitrust cases, or if Wilkin rejects the settlement terms. So that's the way that goes. In terms of how the settlement is being paid out, I don't know that interest. It doesn't really matter. There's a lot of money, and it's going to come some from the NCAA, sometimes for players. Ross Dellinger who's been all over this, did a pretty good job of going through the bullet points of it. Here's the thing that's interesting: the distribution, the allocation formula used with estimated 90% to Power 5 football and men's basketball players. Right now, that's about 6,000 athletes, and so 90% of 2.7 billion, pretty big number. And then 6,000 divided by that, it works out to about $400,000 an athlete is what that'll be from the Power 5 men's basketball players that are opting into this. So it's a pretty big chunk. And the give back on that is, this is what you're getting. Don't come for us again. So if you take this money, whatever that number would be, and obviously the more athletes that join, the lower that number will be, then you're not able to go back at them. That's their hope of this thing. So that's pretty enticing.
Yeah.
Right? You think about Ed O'Bannon for all of those years fighting over the name, image, and likeness in the video game, and what did those guys end up with? Like $1,300? Nearly $500,000, $400,000. That's a big deal. And I don't care how wealthy you are. That's a lot of guys who played football and men's basketball during that time, who $400,000 feel pretty good. So this is a number that I think will hit the sweet spot.
Yeah, it's interesting, though, because while they have wrapped 3 cases into this settlement, that's what they want to do. They wanted to keep the number low, but they also wanted to get rid of the antitrust lawsuits. But there's still a 4th one, currently active. Fontenot, the former Colorado player, he's still doing it, even though much of his claims are very similar to the other cases that are wrapped up into this. So maybe they get it wrapped into the settlement as they work through it with the judge and everything. But right now, that's still there. And that's what they're worried about, that will people opt in to still pursue litigation, or will people just opt into this and take it? At that price point, I would think most guys would just say, that's good enough. I don't want to fight this anymore and see how much longer this can go. You're just going to give me $400,000 for basically, at this point, I mean, yes, you played sports and that was what you did, the services rendered. But at this point, you didn't really have to do anything. And you're going to get $400,000? I would
420
think
is what it amounts to. It's about $420,000.
Most of those guys would say, yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah. Like if you're Tyvus, you missed it by a year.
One year.
He
had to go to the NFL early.
And that sucks. That really sucks. And I don't understand how that's, because obviously 2015 is within 10 years.
So that's what I was thinking about, was if you're 15 or 14, or say your guy's on the 14 team that went early, and you're like, wait a minute. Like this, why did I get excluded from this? Does that open them up to now litigate? Be like, how did you come to that decision? I mean, this opens to me more questions.
Everything
there's so many
questions.
Yeah, there's so many to this. The thing that I think is so fascinating for us going forward is, okay, so 20 to 22 million annually. They arbitrarily come up with this number of, this is what we're going to share with the students, with the athletes. Sometimes I even get caught in it. The distribution, which is crazy, is that Title IX applies here. So, guys, how many times, I mean, all these years I've talked about, you've got to privatize football and men's basketball. That way you can find a way outside of the Title IX umbrella. By not doing that, now all of a sudden this allocation is going to be distributed to athletes, men and women, but predominantly a lot of women who are not playing revenue-generating sports.
Yeah, and that was one of the things people always threw out. Like, well, if the athletes get paid, they're going to have to figure out Title IX. And it's like, they know that, and now they're going through this. So I don't know what the solution is. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know how that law works, or whatever the Title IX actually technically is in a legal sense. But they're going to figure it out because they have to, because that's what they're doing. They're settling this, and they have to go forward with it. It's something where they are bringing it into we don't want to deal with all the litigation anymore, and we're going to figure it out. But then they want to take that and say, now that we have some parameters around it, maybe now we can go to Congress. And it's like, stop trying to go to Congress. Like, clearly Congress is never going to get along well enough for you to get something. And I just remain so skeptical that Congress is interested in creating the rules for what is essentially a club or trade union, but it's not a union because they're not employees.
They're not. They're not. So there will be more of this going forward. They're hoping that this will pacify, and they've probably talked to various legislators who said, yeah, you do this and we're going to have your back and we'll get something done. I've seen like Ted Cruz and some others already with comments today based on this.
Political promises always come through.
Oh, yeah, for sure. This is from this one from Dellinger, too, in terms of like the cap enforcement. Athletes reporting must be true. So there's an NIL component to this as well. Athletes must be true NIL based on developed fair market value. How are you going to decide that? Enforced through NCAA outside of entity with court backing. The burden on the scholar athlete to prove true NIL. No pay for play, booster pay. How are you going to decide this is just impossible. You are worth what someone is willing to pay you.
Yeah, what's market value?
Jamie Rashada was worth $13 million at the time to the University of Florida. The quarterback at Tennessee was worth $8 million at the time to the University of Tennessee. How the hell is he going to prove true NIL? It's what someone was willing to pay me. So that's the true NIL.
Yeah, as long as you are fulfilling some sort of name, image, and likeness things, which is what they do. They have to give out. We were reading that Athletic article where it was talking to agents and NIL collective people and coaches, and it was basically like, yeah, they have to do some tweets. They show up to some charity events. Sometimes there's the business aspect of some of the collectives, and they show up to the businesses. But as long as they do that, that's NIL, and it's like, well, it's not market value. What is market? Yeah, like you said, what is market value for tweeting something and showing up? It's what that they're willing to pay you for it. And like, what is market value for players anyways? Like quarterbacks in the NFL, yeah, they're worth that because everybody has started to pay. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's like, it's just markets are markets. There's not
the market value is what somebody's willing to pay.
Yeah,
that's it. There's nothing more.
I just keep going in circles because it doesn't make any sense.
This is a fun one. This is Notre Dame President Reverend John Jenkins. Quote, the settlement, though undesirable in many aspects and promising only temporary stability, is necessary to avoid what would be bankruptcy of college athletics. To save the great American institution of college sports, Congress must pass legislation that will preempt the current patchwork of state laws, establish that our athletes are not employees, but students seeking college degrees, and provide protection from further antitrust lawsuits that will allow colleges to make and enforce rules that protect our student athletes and help ensure competitive equity among our teams. So he gets it. He really gets it. Finebaum up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
News, opinions, and insight all before breakfast. Rise and shine with Morning Juice.
Weekdays starting at 6.
The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Common Man here for Care Heating and Cooling. Weather is unpredictable, but the inside of your home should be comfortable just the way you like it. And the best way to avoid those unnecessary surprises is with a care plan. See, with a care plan, you get priority service, system maintenance in case of an emergency. Just another way to give you and your family peace of mind. And maintaining your systems properly can help save you money. A properly maintained furnace and air conditioner run more efficiently, reducing your utility usage. Regular maintenance also prevents breakdowns and extends the life of your equipment. I'm on the care plan, and I'm quite the expert. I'll stop by and give your system a once-over. I will. Don't tempt me. I end every commercial the same way, telling you to hire Care when you need a company you can trust. It's not just a slogan. That's the Care creed. How about this? Lennox. They have thousands of dealers nationwide. HVAC royalty. Last year, Lennox gave Care their coveted Partner of the Year award because they're trusted by their customers and their partners. Care Heating and Cooling. Call 1-800-COOLING or book an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com when you need a company you can trust.
O'Reilly. Improve visibility and save $8 instantly when you pick up a new pair of Bosch Icon wiper blades in-store only at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Bosch Icon wiper blades have up to a 40% longer life than other premium wiper blades. The professional parts people will even install them for free at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Roof leaks and damage can ruin your business and your reputation. Property management pros trust Legacy Roofing Services, Ohio's leader in commercial roof repair, replacement, and ongoing maintenance. At Legacy, our reputation for fast, reliable, safe, and permanent roofing services for commercial buildings can solve your roofing problems before they become roofing nightmares. Call Legacy Roofing Services today, 800-880-ROOF. 800-880-ROOF. Legacy Roofing Services.
Rothman and Ice.
And you could get some dry skin shavings, to come your way and fall in your popcorn.
Okay.
Just keep the toes in, ladies and gentlemen, at the movie theater, please.
Rothman and Ice. Weekdays at noon.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus.
The Fan.
At Take 5, we're faster than you think. That means we'll change your oil and have you back on the road before you can count all the change in your center console. Cha-ching, baby. Just sit back and relax while our fast, friendly team does all the work. Take 5, the stay-in-your-car 10-minute oil change.
The Sign and Drive Green Tag event continues, offering 0% for 84 months with no money down on a John Deere compact utility tractor with loader. Limited time offer. Visit your local Ag Pro today. Offer ends May 31st, 2024. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
New 2024, up to 72 months Aria, up to 36 months Rogue, and 6/3/24.
Reichert Nissan has an announcement to make. 0% financing is now available for up to 72 months. Take a Reichert Nissan Aria home today and pay 0% for 72 months. But that's not all. Reichert Nissan also has 0% financing on Rogue 2. Visit the Reichert Mega Mall off 270 and 33 or shop thousands at ReichertNissan.com. Save more this Memorial Day weekend, only at Reichert. We're dealing.
With approved credit, residency restrictions apply. Offers cannot be combined. Dealer contribution affects consumer cost.
From taking on extra shifts to the years of hard work, the success you've already had matters at University of Maryland Global Campus because we're a school for real life. An accredited state university, UMGC lets you earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and life and work experience. Plus, we offer affordable tuition and online and hybrid classes, all with the support you need. Begin your next success soon. Undergraduate classes start June 12th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
As a roofer, spring means the start of my busy season, which means I've got to get organized with help from Beacon. I can save time with Beacon Pro Plus and 24/7 access to live pricing, delivery tracking, order history, and more. Plus, this spring, I can earn $1,000 and the chance to win a $25,000 backyard renovation just by buying my CertainTeed shingles online with Beacon. No purchase necessary. Now that's what I call a spring cleanup. Visit BECN.com for official rules and to start earning entries.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
What's up?
What's up, man? What's up with you? All right, here's what's up on a Friday, a landmark day in college athletics. We head out on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Conversation with our good buddy Paul Finebaum, the Paul Finebaum Show, ESPN, SEC Network, and everywhere else you can find it, which is a lot of places. Paul, thank you so much for taking the time. Well, it's done, buddy. It's done. We're gonna have some pay for play. I got about 1 billion questions on it, but what is your sense of this now becoming reality and the way that this has all come out this week?
But I mean, we are going to trumpet or triumph this as a landmark day, a historical day. But how many times have we said that in the last 3 years? I mean, for those of us who swim in these waters, it just seems like another day. But this is the day that everybody else starts paying attention, and I mean outside of the bubble of college football, where the average person goes, "Ooh, they're not paying college football players," even though we've had conversations about caps and coaches saying I'm not going this high for a linebacker. But it is significant. And to me, what's really significant is how utterly incompetent the NCAA really looks after all this, considering they could have handled this probably 8 or 9 years ago for a dime on the dollar as opposed to the exorbitant fees that they and everyone else are having to pay today.
I said it's like they said Jesus take the wheel, but they didn't believe in Jesus, right? They just let the thing just drive off the rails. I mean, and this is what you get for it, is this settlement of, and it's a big number. It's 2.7. It's 90% of it going to 6,000. The people who opt in right now, it's around 6,000 men's basketball, college football players. That's $400 and some $1,000 an athlete. That's a nice back play, and I think it will be incentivized. But I also think that this doesn't solve all of it, does it? There's about 1 billion questions that come from this, and they're begging Congress to come help them now. How likely do you think that is?
I don't think much has changed there. I may have alluded to this last week or the week before, but I had a long conversation with Tommy Tuberville, the football coach turned senator, and he told me how this is going to be done, and I didn't hear one thing in his explanation that had me believe that we are any closer to it than we were a year ago. Remember when the entire world seemed to converge on Capitol Hill on that June day, and not one thing happened other than a bunch of interns in Congress got selfies with Nick Saban.
Yeah, no, that's it. It's much of that in that sense. No, they're not going to get help there, and there's a great deal in naivete about that. So you talk to a lot of people around the sport, administrators, people in athletic departments, athletic directors. They've been preparing for this, right? So this 20 million number, how are they going to how are they going to dole it out? And then obviously football is the one that pays all the bills, but you've got Title IX in the middle of this. When you talk to people, what are the biggest challenges?
Well, dealing with it. First of all, there's still no infrastructure in dealing with enforcement. Nobody has any idea. And I know you saw the case the other day with Rashada at Florida. I mean, it shows you how bungled that was. But there's still no infrastructure. There's not a really desire for enforcement. So essentially, and this is a line that we have all used ad nauseum, Bo, but the elite are going to become even more elite. That's great if you're an Ohio State fan or if you're a Bama fan. It's terrible if you're a group of five or a middle to lower pack, even in the Power Four. If you're an Indiana or Purdue or Vanderbilt or Mississippi State, guess what? You're screwed.
Yeah, it kind of is. Something I thought was so funny was in the settlement that to incentivize athletes to avoid boosters, and then it is up to the athlete to determine the true NIL market value. Paul, my pushback on that is your market value is what someone's willing to pay you, right? Yeah. So how are you going to determine a true market value? If a booster's willing to pay you $8 million to quarterback Alabama or Texas A&M, then that's what you're worth.
No, it's 100%. It's like anybody's ever been in a negotiation. I mean, we are essentially in the entertainment world. It doesn't seem like it sometimes, Bo. But I mean, there's no such thing as making too much money because that means somebody thinks you're worth it, and if they don't, then you find another place to work. It's really simple, and I think that's where we are right now. I mean, I don't think anything really changes today, except there's a lot of bloviating on talk shows and by administrators. And I mean, I was like, I literally turned my phone off last night. I mean, how many between about 7 and 10 o'clock, how many statements did you get that all said the same thing from? I mean, these people, what do they do? I mean, I know how this is the sausage is made, and so do you. And all these statements, by the way, have been prepared for months.
Yes, they have. Yeah. Here's the other thing about it. And one more before I get to that. We had Ryan Day in studio last week. And one of the things that I got the sense talking to him was like these coaches, they're not worried about it. They just got their heads down, right? They're just trying to go day to day. There's so much being thrown at them and they're compensated very well for it. So no one needs to feel sorry for them. But at the same time, like there's so much change in the sport that you just got to kind of put the one foot ahead of the next. When you talk to coaches, are they even, this is out there, but do you sense a similar theme from the coaches you talk to?
You know, if you're a Big Ten coach today or an SEC coach, you're way past this day. You're not stopping and going, I need to read up on that. You're trying to do one thing, and that is you're probably calling someone or playing golf with someone or having lunch with someone today saying, hey, I know it's Friday before Memorial Day, but any chance you could, pop us with another $1 million? Mm-hmm. That's all they're doing. I mean, they are when they are not recruiting or evaluating their fundraising, because that's really the only way. And, a guy like Ryan Day is valuable because he's a known commodity. And if the AD at Ohio State takes Ryan Day to play golf with somebody, they better be giving a lot of money because he has somebody else he could be with.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's it. They're fundraisers and recruiters. Do fans care? Will they notice a difference?
No, they really don't care. I was at a gym this morning, and the story came on briefly on ESPN, and one person looked up and looked at me, and he said, "Anything changed?" I go, "Nope." the guy literally kept on, attempting to do curls, and it's just the way. I don't know anyone else who I think agrees with me more on this in the industry than you, but I care, and you care, and your fans care about what time does Ohio State's first game start.
That's it.
And which one's in prime time, which one's an early start. This stuff does not interest them in the least.
Yeah, and the vast majority won't notice a damn difference because they're still going to have their Buckeyes at noon, and that's the way it's going to go for the foreseeable future. So I thought of you when I saw the Rashada case. And I just thought to myself, like, how many days in the course of a year do you wake up and go, thank God I went to the school I went to, thank God I covered this conference. Like, this is just an unbelievable. And now he's at Georgia with Kirby, for crying out loud. And that's one of the great rivalries in the South, is the cocktail party rivalry. Although it's usually very, very one-sided. But, like, this is just rich for your show. A backup quarterback suing a coach. I mean, like, he's in their lawsuit.
And by the way, to get deep in the SEC weeds, there's not a coach who's in more trouble than Billy Napier, the head coach in Florida, either. And the school just found another reason to get rid of him at maybe a cheaper price, however the legalese works out. I mean, this guy, he's the head coach at Florida, which I'll tell you a quick story. Tim Tebow, in the Swamp Kings Netflix documentary last year, told me, he told the interviewer, but he's told me many times privately, that in 2009 was one of the biggest disappointments of his life when they lost to Alabama as the number one team in the country, because that meant in 2009 that under Urban Meyer, the Gators would not win 3 national championships during his 4 years. That's a long time ago at the University of Florida, considering Billy Napier has not had a winning record in 2 years.
No, I've often said I can't tell if Florida's a good job or not, because the times when they've had the greatest, or a great job or not, I know it's a good job, but a great job or not, because they've had 2 of the best coaches in the last 50 years in Spurrier and Urban, and when those guys aren't there, it falls off the cliff.
And just for you Buckeye fans, when Urban was there, he became the greatest coach in Florida history, according to the local media. That was until he left, and then Spurrier became the best coach again because everybody hated Urban.
So much so that they ignored the fact that Spurrier decided to coach inside the league rather than return. He could have returned to Florida. It would have worked out. The timing was there, and instead he went to a rival.
Listen, I'm on the record. I don't even like Urban Meyer, but the idea that Florida has not honored him and put his name up on the board where they honor great players and coaches is absolutely absurd.
Yeah, it is. Going to be a fun one this afternoon on your program. Look forward to it. Thank you for your time, my friend.
Thanks, bro. See you next week.
All right, that's Paul Finebaum. Paul Finebaum Show, SEC Network, ESPN, joining us on the Brian Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. A week ago today, Reese, we were having ourselves a day, and I believe we had that. We'll get to that coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
We're the girthiest radio station in the history of radio. Uncomfortably girthy. This promo is uncomfortable. The Fan, Ohio's girth destination.
Have you heard? There's always more at Speedway. Like a Big Bite hot dog and Big Gulp drink for only $2.50. Are you dreaming of that fizzy Big Gulp, or a dressed up hot dog with zesty relish, or spicy jalapenos, or tangy mustard, or... Okay, wipe the drool off your face. Well, whatever you're in the mood for, we have it. And we mean all of it. Now, you can get more with less. Like your go-to combo. Get your big meal deal for only $2.50 with Speedy Rewards. There's always more at Speedway. Valid through 1/7/25. Speedway has the right to end this promotion early. Plus tax. Participating U.S. stores only. See app for full terms. All rights reserved.
This offer is only available at Reichert Ford. 0% financing for 72 months on every 2023 Ford F-150 in stock. Take advantage of Reichert's rate before it's too late. Lock in your 0% rate and take a new truck home today. Thousands of vehicles are waiting at ReichertFord.com.
Credit. See dealer for details. N6324.
Exclusively at Reichert Ford. 0% for 72 months is now available on every new 23 F-150 in stock. Hundreds of trucks at ReichertFord.com. We're dealing. Save more this Memorial Day weekend. Only at Reichert. We're dealing.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here, and the playoff action is here. And there isn't a more rewarding sportsbook in the game than Tipico. Get ready to bet on the biggest games of the year, the playoff basketball, the hockey, the actions every night. You want to make the most of every game? You've got to bet with Tipico. You'll get up to 5% cash back on your bets. Claim your new sign-up bonus now and get $150 in protected bets when you deposit $100. Sign up now. Enter the promo code TheFan150 to get your bonus. Download the Tipico Sportsbook app today. Must be 21 or older and physically located in Ohio. Terms and conditions do apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Ah, the sweet sounds of spring. The crack of a bat, chorus of birds, and the glorious hum of a freshly tuned AC system. Don't sweat it. Let the Waterworks Heating and Cooling team keep you in tune with a spring AC checkup.
You're all set.
Schedule a visit today and stay cool all summer long. Call the Waterworks Heating and Cooling team, 614-333-9720, or schedule service on our website. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better AC.
Common Man and T-Bone.
Bees know they're about to die because it's getting cold out and they're ornery, and you roll down your window and say, "Can I have a..."
Common Man and T-Bone.
Sponsored by the Hinderer Motor Company.
Weekdays 3 to 6 on The Fan.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. And when I was looking to get a new roof on my home, I wanted a company with staying power. A company that had been in business for more than 30 years, built on the principles of honesty, integrity, and transparency. Well, there was nowhere else to go than Newman Roofing. 32 years later, and hundreds of 5-star reviews from customers that have been blown away with the service that they've received. Some of the customers now, well, they've been around so long, they're getting their second Newman roof, and that speaks to the quality and the way Tim and his team do things. During a time where service is lacking in the service industry, companies like Newman Roofing are leading the way, providing white glove experience to all of their customers, just like they did to me and my family. So when it comes time to get your roof replaced, you're going to want to go with a company you can trust, and that's Newman Roofing. Don't just get a roof, get a Newman roof. Call 614-NEW-ROOF or go visit them online at newmanroofing.com. That's newmanroofing.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Accurate Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Sports conversation that's worthy of a toast, or at least a stiff drink. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Well, hey, friends, it's your Uncle Bo here. If you're among the millions of men suffering from erectile dysfunction, now is the time to do something about it. Tired of the embarrassment, the frustration that comes with suffering from ED. It can be a relationship destroyer. Stop it before it gets to that point. Give my friends at Tri-State Men's Health a call today. So many men out there, mediocre sex life, just good enough. Maybe you tried pills or supplements, working okay. What if it could be better? What if it could be much, much better? Well, Tri-State Men's Health treatments work where the pills and herbals fail. They have treatments with success rates over 90%. Do yourself a favor. Schedule a consult with Tri-State Men's Health here in town today. Your initial visit, just $99, includes medical consult, licensed medical provider, a TNPSA test, and if medically advised, a test dose. If that test dose doesn't work, that office visit is going to be free. It is a no-lose win-win for you. Give a call today. Get your sex life back on track. 800-900-9654 or visit TriStateMen'sHealth.com today for more. And, of course, we are on the YouTube. We're there. Watch your favorite shows, including us. Check out the videos, YouTube Shorts. Head to this. It's an incredible website. It's called YouTube. And then you just simply search our site. You search 971 The Fan. And then you subscribe to the new YouTube channel, and everyone wins.
Apparently there's just videos to watch.
Can I get this YouTube on my phone?
It's is it a soft J?
I believe you can get it on your phone, your laptop, your desktop, even your at-home TV if it's a smart TV.
I see on the I got the chat up here on ours. Jason wants to know, do I ever go on Paul's call-in show? You know, I haven't. I've not been on. I've not been on his show. I would be fine. Be happy to do so.
What would you
not.
What would you do right now if I just dropped a? I've been on it. You invited me.
He asked me. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think? What's up with that? Also got Jordan saying Memorial Day better than Black Friday because of the nicer weather. Yeah, I mean it's the weather. Why I think this is the top one. I think that's why it's the top Friday. And I've seen a lot of people say going into Labor Day because it means football season's here. Yes, but I this sounds odd, folks. I actually enjoy looking forward to football season almost as much as I enjoy actual football season, if that makes sense.
Plus, once the games are on, not that like I really enjoy it, but it feels like a little bit more of an obligation to also watch it. Whereas Memorial Day weekend, you can kind of do whatever you want. Maybe check out an NBA game or an NHL playoff game at the end of the day. And you don't have much going on during the day, and you can just enjoy the weather and hang out.
Yeah, I like looking forward to summer. That's why that's where I'm there on this one. So a week ago today, Reese and I were doing, along with Bake, Chops, you were off, we're doing one of the more surreal shows that we've done, where we basically turned into like a live, we're basically live broadcasting Scottie Scheffler's morning from the PGA Championship, which was not what we intended. But then this happened. And like by 6 o'clock, by 6:30, by the time I'd sent you like the outline for the show, Reese, at that point he had already been arrested. And the video was starting to make its way around. So you're like, well, the show that we intended is certainly not the show that we're going to do. And one of the things that it felt like to me, and we went over this at length and ad nauseum last week, and everybody has sense, was that I had a very hard time believing that Scottie Scheffler did anything wrong, right? And so in the days that followed, you had the report from Kevin Van Valkenburg that I want to say no laying up or whatever that, I can't remember what that is.
Yeah, no maybe? Laying ups. Like
no laying up. Yeah, I get him confused. But he had the report that they were going to drop, and he was a former ESPN guy, like they were going to drop the charges on Scheffler. They have not dropped the charges on him to this point. We did get the news from Louisville police that the vest cam that was on the officer was not engaged, and he's been punished for that. No kidding, I bet. That seems like a pretty big miss. And then yesterday they had a press conference where they released the video from a pole. So it was a pole near the entrance of Valhalla, and guess what? It played out the way we said it played out, and the way Jeff Darlington reported it played out, where Scottie Scheffler went around as he was instructed to do by the PGA Tour, as Louisville PD was supposed to be instructed to let players go by. He went around. Jeff Darlington's original reporting was that the officer attached himself to Scottie Scheffler's car. The video kind of shows that. There is zero video evidence of this guy being drugged. There's zero evidence. At one point, they're even, like, it looks like a heated conversation between the officer who arrested Scheffler and others there trying to explain, like, what the hell are you doing, man? Like, that's what it looks like. Yeah. It looks like that. Like, what did you just do? Why would you do that? And so all of this stuff has now come to light, and yet Louisville police still has not dropped the charges.
And what about the $80 pants?
The pants, what about his pants?
Beyond repair.
No evidence that the pants are beyond repair, by the way, or that he would need to go to the hospital, as he very clearly just walked right over to have the conversation with the rest of his peers.
Yeah, no, the video doesn't show everything, and it's hard to prove a negative, but as far as what we can see from it, it does not look like the story purported from the officer's side is exactly what happened. It doesn't look like he was dragged at any point during that video, and if he was and was so injured, yeah, he ran back up to the car and then got it. So I don't know how they're going to stand on it, and it's like, why would they even want this to go further, the LMPD? Because they don't have any additional evidence. So what could they possibly prove?
This officer, who, by the way, now his back history has come to light. At one point, while off duty, driving in a squad car and doing donuts with an intoxicated civilian, like that.
Like super bad?
It's super bad.
Yeah, like now this stuff is coming to light of his past behavior is coming to light as well. So, like, look, like, this was like, hey, man, maybe we were a little overzealous. Like, let's just drop this. Scottie probably wants to move on from this as well. And instead, they're like leaning into it. I don't understand it. I don't understand the point of it. Scheffler's attorney with this, our position is the same as it was last Friday. Scottie Scheffler didn't do anything wrong. We're not interested in settling the case. We'll either try it or it'll be dismissed. It's very simple. All the evidence that continues to come out just continues to support that Scottie said all along, this is a chaotic situation and a miscommunication. He didn't do anything wrong. Yeah, I think that's pretty damn fair at this point.
I don't think the wheels are officially in motion in this. I think it's more conjecture from people who are observers of all of this story happening and evolving right in front of us. But there is the idea that would the PGA take Valhalla off the rotation? Some people have suggested that could be the case. I mean, the world's number one golfer was presumably affected in his Saturday round by getting arrested on Friday by something that seemed to be at most a misunderstanding.
It's all in play. I mean, we went over like the future PGA US Open stops, and I don't think Valhalla is on the list anywhere
in the near
foreseeable future.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, they're going to, like, they built that course in Frisco where the PGA headquarters are. So, like, they're going to be there for a while, but they got two of those. I don't know. I think it's all in play. It's definitely all in play. And I did think it was funny. The all of the stuff that came out yesterday once Scottie committed and Dan announcing that on Rothman and Ice, Dan Sullivan, the great Dan Sullivan, and everyone's saying Dublin police like salivating. Like they can't wait to get their hands on Scottie Scheffler. Like, good Lord, what a mess. And then what's lost in all of this is someone died that morning. Like there's legitimate tragedy that happened that morning in a chaotic morning down in Louisville, and then it turned into this, everything that follows just nonsensical. Absolutely nonsensical and totally avoidable, and wasn't, and then became kind of, the story of the weekend, certainly the story of last Friday. We have a former high school hockey player joining us next, some guy named James Laurinaitis. Bishop and friends are here on The Fan.
If the sound of another man slammed against plexiglass turns you on, you've come to the right place. Proud to be your home for Jackets hockey. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Men, this is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, the leading men's sexual health practice here in the area for treating erectile dysfunction and low testosterone. And I'm excited to tell you today about the opening of our second location here in Columbus. For me, having been raised here, it's like being back home. The response we've gotten from men here in Columbus has been incredible, and I want to thank so many of you for trusting us in addressing your ED and low T issues. Our goal is always to put patients first, and our highly skilled medical professionals are totally focused on men's sexual health. So if you're suffering with erectile dysfunction, call us. We have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means if you're like most guys, you'll get your sex life back. You might even find you're performing like you haven't in years. Make your appointment today. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. We have 6 offices across the tri-state area to serve you.
My guys at Germain Lexus are getting ready for the Memorial. What they do every single year is let the golfers drive around in beautiful Lexuses for the week. Then they take those cars and sell them to you. You could be driving Rory's car. The Germain all-month-long celebration's going on right now. You can get great deals like this one. 2024 RX 350, 36-month lease, 10,000 miles per year, $49.99 down, $519 a month. I just picked up my brand new RX 350 a few weeks ago. It is plush. Germain Lexus of Dublin and Easton, GermainLexus.com.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
At Lowe's, save big every day when you buy in bulk. Save 10% when you buy 68 or more OSB sheathing. And there's more. Save 10% on select James Hardie products when you buy in bulk. Visit us in-store or online for low prices on the materials you need. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location while supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals is tonight in Minnesota. The Timberwolves host the Mavericks at 8:30. We'll have that one on The Fan following the Buckeye Show. Dallas took a 1-0 lead in the series thanks to a Game 1 win this past Wednesday. It'll head back to Dallas for Game 3 on Sunday. On the court last night, the Celtics beat the Pacers 126-110 in Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Jaylen Brown's 40 points led Boston to a 2-0 lead in that series. Indiana's going to host Game 3 tomorrow night, but could be without Tyrese Halliburton, who suffered a hamstring injury last night in the third quarter and did not return to the game. In baseball, the Padres beat the Reds 6-4 on Thursday in 10 innings. Cincinnati will host the LA Dodgers this weekend. Graham Ashcraft's going to toe the rubber on the mound at 7:10 tonight, and the Guardians are in Los Angeles versus the Angels. This update is sponsored by The Waterworks. Trust the pros at The Waterworks for all your plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling needs. Visit thewaterworks.com today to get started.
Drink recommendations, movie reviews, sports discussion, and whatever the hell Reeser does. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, second hour here on a Friday edition of the program. Time to head out on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. This is what it says in the prep. Former high school hockey player. I was going to say former talk show host, but also current Ohio State linebacker coach. Therese, how you living?
Oh, how am I living? It's moving day.
it's moving day, Bo.
Are you physically moving?
Yeah, I'm physically moving. Right now, I'm sitting outside, shirt off, and I am. It's a beautiful, beautiful day here in Columbus.
Gorgeous.
And I'm putting together the trampoline that I took apart at the old spot, so that when the three insanely wild humans get here later, it's like, hey, why don't you go jump or do something, please?
You have to have a distraction show on moving day. You have to have a distraction for them.
Buddy, let me tell you something. Here's what I don't advise, okay? If you are about to become, a new homeowner, or let's just put it this way. If you get through 11 years of marriage and you're on your 10th house, look, you can get through anything. You can get through anything.
You guys this is 10?
This is move number 10, buddy.
Can you remember, like off the top of your head, do you remember all 10 houses?
Absolutely. It all started in 867 Macaulay Court, St. Charles, Missouri. It started there. We had a place, I think 5766 Creighton Drive over in Ballantrae. And then it went to 11 Sherwin Lane. Okay. That's in St. Louis. So we moved, within St. Louis.
Yep.
And then it went to 345 Ridgeway in Metairie, Louisiana. And then it went to 155 Brookfield Avenue, Nashville, Tennessee.
Yep.
7925 Denison Court. Where else have we gallivanted to?
Six.
Plum Ridge Drive over there in lovely Jerome Village.
So you got 7.
Plum Ridge Place. I think it was Plum Ridge Place. I can't remember. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I'm not going to hold it against you.
Yep. And then it goes to Donegal Drive in South Penn, Indiana.
That's right.
And then it comes down to Lane Avenue in Columbus, Ohio. And now we're out at I'm not telling you what the address is now.
Don't. Keep that quiet. So we got 10.
I'm not telling you. Otherwise I'll end up like Herb Street. People showing up and your linebackers can't play. Some of that stuff.
So, look, this is a pretty good job out of you. You get a little 15 minutes here where you can take a little break from the activities. Because this moving is a stressful day.
You can hear that. You can probably hear the wrench in the background. Yeah. I'm stacking wood right now for a future burn. I mean, what are we talking about? There's no break.
Give me your fire pit situation at the new operation.
Well, it's a new build, not built by us. Right. And so, you got a lot of dead, no grass, right around the immediate build. And so really in my brain, I'm like, do I risk putting all of these, we had some brush cleared, so there's naturally a ton of dead wood hanging around. Do I just make a giant pile and burn it? Or is that a little risky? Do I need to have some confidence? I probably shouldn't do that.
I think you can do that. You got wood, you got dirt everywhere.
I could.
It's not going anywhere.
You know what I'm saying? I know. Yeah. We have water. We have a hose. It's like, well, what's the worst that can happen? You burn all the grass on your property? Maybe. I don't know.
I think you're safe. We've had so much rain. I think you have a little fire extinguisher here and there, and I think you're safe. I think you do a big pile. I don't think you need to build a formal pit. I think you're fine. I think you're good, buddy.
I think I'm fine too. I think I am too. I think that's the play. I don't know.
Let me ask you this. This was one of the things that we used to talk about from time to time was the loss of the NCAA football game. It's back.
Yeah, baby.
You're moving.
Back.
You got all the kids. You're recruiting like a maniac. You got all these things going on. But this was something that you spent a great deal of time on as a kid. Did you take a look at the trailer? How could you ever play it? But I would think you may have to get a system even just to play it once.
Look, I don't plan on getting a system. I don't know what PlayStation we're on now. We could be on. Are we on 5? That sounds great. I'm sure they have one in the Woody. I'm almost positive they have one in the Woody. They'll get the game there, and then I'll have to teach these young kids a lesson. I was insane at the game. I just want to put that out there.
Yeah.
I also want to put that out there that I used to destroy one Marcus Freeman in the game. Marcus used to get really upset that my speed was better than his. He said, listen, don't blame me. Blame the nerd who made it. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I think I have to teach these guys a little lesson when it comes about. Because, look, guys like C.J. Hicks, brag about their Madden skills. I'm like, look, dude, I don't got Madden anymore. Like, what are we talking? You know what I mean? So, yeah. But when it comes to NCAA, yeah, man, I might have to. That might be now. Chances of that happening at the house, 0. What are we talking about?
You got too much going on. At what
there's
point?
Not a chance. Are you kidding me?
No. At what point in a meeting room will you sometimes subtle reminders, right? Just drop hey, here's an entire list of all the 99 overalls. Do you guys recognize anybody on this list?
I had to put it's not my guys. A lot of times, DBs talk a lot.
Yeah.
And so, IGB, some of these guys, they just want to chat. And I'm like, look, my go-to is that,
Yeah.
It's like, when you get there, just text me. No, I don't. I mean,
I would.
I saw it posted the other day, and I think I sent it to Marcus. But because I know it still bugs him. And the sad thing is that he has the ultimate flex right now because he's probably flying somewhere privately, to speak.
His flex back is how's Atlanta Hartsfield? How's that treating you?
Yeah. How's the connection? How's the buddy? I drove from Gainesville, Georgia, and yes, there's a Gainesville, Georgia, all the way down to like Noonan one day, and let me tell you, I don't recommend that. And then it finished with a 5-hour flight to LA. A couple days there, red eye that was supposed to take off at midnight, took off at 2 a.m. to Dallas. Just grinding.
Is there a place, because you and I, we used to talk a lot about, like the high school football experience and some of it. And I talked about, my experience is North Florida, South Georgia, and some of those like Colquitt County, Valdosta, Lowndes, like those monster programs that have these, 15,000 seat stadiums. And you have that in Texas too. Like now that that you can get out there and go recruit it. What are you seeing in high school football and how it's changed and just the way that it's received in different parts of the country?
Well, I mean, believe it or not, the NIL stuff filters into high school. I think that's interesting. You just kind of learn. For one, for me, it's like you get to kind of pop around and you see how big high school football is in Georgia. I think that's something that I never really appreciated. Like, who used to tell me that all the time was Alec Ogletree. Speaking of Noonan, and he used to talk about how don't sleep on Georgia high school football, and then you get down there and you just realize like the programs in the South have a distinct advantage over us in Ohio, and they got indoor fields that have spring practice, and you go to a practice in Georgia, day one, full pads, bam, tackle technique, and you're like, these guys are getting 4 extra sessions than the kids up here in just football skills and development and technique. And that's why I think you see so many guys coming out of the South, but then you also have to be smart and strategic with your recruiting, you know what I mean? And the landscape of college football, as I'm sure you guys have exhausted, is continuing to evolve. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's nuts.
Nobody knows, is NIL going to still be there in a couple years? Is it there next year with the new settlement? Who knows what it all looks like? You're just trying to hold on and evolve and adapt with it. And, it just takes patience sometimes, and you got to kind of figure out the way you want to do things. But it's been an awesome learning experience, kind of like when you get to go down to certain places like McKinney, Texas, and you get to go to Rome High School in Georgia, and you get to go all over the place. You get to be at some legendary places. You're in Katy, Texas. You're going to places where like, holy smokes, like this is big time high school football now.
It's Friday Night Lights, right? And we have some of them here. Certainly Massillon feels like that. There's other places around here but you have to have the history, and you have to be around a long time, and where the city rotates around you, and there's so many spots out there that still have it. You bring up something that I just couldn't believe when I first moved here, and I know you and I talked about it when we used to do the show. Like, it is absolutely nuts to me that there isn't spring football in Ohio. I think it's absolutely bonkers that it doesn't exist. And you're talking about in Georgia, when I was down there, they could do it whenever they wanted, but it was upwards of 3 weeks of practices. In Florida, it was 2 that happened in May. And like, to your point, they were going. Like, it wasn't like, now maybe it's different now, but at that time, it wasn't like they were just wearing shells. Like, they were full on go. And you miss out on basically what amounts to an entire training camp up here.
Yeah. I mean, there's multiple theories on it, right? Like, you talk to some people and they want the kid, from the South because they have all that extra reps, right? And then you talk to other people, and they're like, well, then that kid's already maxed out. There's no room for growth, and you're like, okay, well, which side are we going here? You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm sure there's probably a little bit of truth to both of it. I also find myself wondering, I'm not going to lie to you, like I was thinking about this the other day, like in my situation now with like the way we've gotten in recruiting, like I'm not recruiting me. Does that make sense?
No.
Like,
yes, it does.
I'm not going to Wayzata High School to see a 3-star who is the 542nd recruit in the nation. Like today's Ohio State is not going down that path. Like the Ohio State back in 2005, I'm certainly thankful they did. But with what the national recruiting has turned into and the expectation to be a 1 and 2 class, I mean, you're not going after that slow, 4.8 40 kid out of Wayzata. Here's not. And so it's unique because it's all changing, right? And it becomes a little bit like you're trying to manage a roster, and the competitor in you is like, man, I want the top. If I have to sign 3 dudes, I want the top 3 in the country. Like, let's go. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, what if NIL comes into play with all 3 of them? And then what are we going to, what gets spent on linebackers? Yeah. You're like, I don't know. I'm not a general manager. I try to coach with LBs. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to give me hands and get off blocks. You know what I mean?
Buddy, what would have happened to you is you would have gone to Minnesota. You would have been great. And then they would have got you in the portal. That's how it would have gone now. I mean, if back then, you know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, that's the angle of it. Yeah. That's just, look, but we had Ryan Day in last week.
We used to talk, and we used to think the portal was going to go the other way when we were doing shows like, like it was going to help bring the bottom up, and what turned into it is like, hey, you got dudes somewhere, and now they just want to transfer up,
So many things we were on, though, buddy. You knew pay for play was coming. You knew revenue sharing was coming. You knew a lot of this stuff we nailed. We nailed that USC and UCLA weren't going to come alone, that they were going to be dance partners with them. It just made no sense for 2 of them to go. So we for the things we got wrong, we got a lot right as well, my friend. I want to ask you, back to the NCAA football, what was the most fun season you ever remember playing?
The video games?
Yeah, that's right.
Man, look, they're all fun because basically what I did was I created a right-handed version of Michael Vick and created a player every single time. So with better accuracy, you know what I mean?
Better accuracy than Vick.
Yeah. And I would create like the dynasty mode, right, or legacy mode. I don't even know what it's called anymore. But I would create it with, I don't want to be too unrealistic and be like, Minnesota. I was like, no, let's do Big Ten expansion. Let's add a team called the Minnesota State Mavericks. Love to this thing, right? Let's put them in the Big Ten. Purple and gold unis, looking sweet. Got to create the uniform. And then, of course, you got to get like a 6'5" mixture of like Mike Vick and Vince Young at QB. And let's go win the Heisman. What are we talking about, So it's hard to get, massive stats when you're doing 2-minute quarters or whatever it was, 3-minute quarters.
Yeah.
But still, we brought home hardware. That's what we did back in the day. So it was all good. It was all good.
Bootsy said to me the other day, he goes, Dad, did you know that they're going to do a college football game? And I said, yeah, I know it. It's going to be amazing. He's like, can we get it? I said, yeah, we can get it for sure. He goes, I've never played a college football game except for the old one on your old Xbox 360. He said, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's ready.
Yeah.
They're ready. The boys are ready. They're locked in. This is going to be a big summer, buddy. Big summer.
I mean, look, what better pure joy than hearing the fight songs on the opening screen of that thing. You know what I mean? Now, look, I'm sure there's already been a lot of debate on the line about, the trailer and the respect for Ohio State. I don't really have time to get into all that, but it's all right.
Dude, they got a Michigan guy on the programming. How great is this? I love it. It's just spectacular. It's spectacular.
I did mention something to Lathan. I'll just say that.
Good.
I did mention something to Lathan. Yeah.
Good. Yeah, well, I like that.
Said,
well,
wow,
listen.
Man. Just said, wow.
Good luck on the move. The best to Cersei and the girls. Try to. I'll tell you what. People always talk about like an after Mo beer, that type of thing. Enjoy yourself tonight a little bit. That's going to taste pretty good when you get when today's done.
Dude, text me the first Friday, will you? Like I'm still waiting. I can't even get I can't get a first edition recipe book. Like I thought we went back, and I'm just sitting here waiting, struggling over here, like. Oh, here's a little bit here. Oh, what do I mix in it? I don't know, because my friend Bo doesn't send me any recipes anymore.
All right, I'll get you a recipe for the weekend, buddy. Good talking to you, pal.
Appreciate you. All right, man.
There he is. James Laurinaitis joining us on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Always good to hear from threes. The NFL and college football, can they find a way to work together? They really need to, but will the NFL be incentivized to do so? We get to it coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
A lot of hosts have been on our airways in the past 30 years. Some good, some bad, some really bad. Anyway, sorry for that. The Fan.
Legend has it, underneath the NJM insurance offices lies a mysterious room of long-forgotten, moldy mascot memorabilia, often pitched by ad agencies, always rejected by NJM. Is it real? We may never know. But what is real is NJM's dedication to doing what's right for their customers. Astoundingly, they're proud to put policyholders first. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. Learn more at njm.com.
It's the Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event. So give your friends something to look at and make this a summer to share and save with a capable Kia SUV like the Sorento, Sportage, Seltos, or Telluride, or a powerful sedan like the fun-to-drive Forte, each backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. And for a limited time, get 1.9% APR for 48 months for well-qualified buyers and $1,000 bonus cash on specially tagged 2024 Sportage and Sorento models. Kia, movement that inspires.
Call 800-333-4KIA for details. Financing for 24 to 48 months from Kia Finance, subject to credit approval for purchase of a new 2024 Sportage or Sorento. Excludes hybrids and PHEVs. $21.65 per month per $1,000 financed at 48 months. $1,000 bonus cash on specially tagged models must be applied as down payment. Must take delivery by 7/8/24. Limited inventory. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See retailer for details.
Hollywood Lights. Set sail with excitement at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Saturday, May 25th, you could be the lucky winner of a 7-day, all-expenses-paid Caribbean cruise for two. Not a sailor? No problem. Opt for $15,000 in cold, hard cash instead. Play your favorite slots and table games throughout May to earn entries. More details at HollywoodColumbus.com. Remember, your adventure awaits at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Here's a quick listening guide. When something's on The Fan, it's on the station you're listening to right now. If I say something's on ESPN Columbus, it's on 1460 AM and The Fan's HD2. When in doubt, stream it on The Fan app. Thank you and good night.
O'Reilly. Check engine light on? Take the guesswork out of your check engine light with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free and provides a report with solutions based on over 650 million vehicle scans verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we can recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Ohio, ready for some quick mental health facts? Let's go. Nearly 2 million Ohioans live with a mental health condition. In the U.S., more than 50% of people will be diagnosed with a mental illness in their lifetime. Depression is a leading cause of disability worldwide. So why are some of us still stigmatizing people living with a mental health condition when we know all of this? Let's listen to the facts and beat the stigma. Ohio, challenge what you know about mental health at beatthestigma.org.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
This is the sound of a popular American motorcycle. It's the sound of freedom, the open road, really good times. And this is what it sounds like with a drunk guy on it. How do you like the sound of that? Cops are cracking down on drunk motorcycle riders. If you ride drunk, you will get caught and you will get arrested. Drunk riding. Over the limit, under arrest. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Transportation.
Is your IRS tax debt making you feel anxious? The professionals at Allies Tax Relief are ready to negotiate your fresh start. Call them now, 800-230-5174.
Fan weather.
from the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We're going to be tracking a sunny day out there today with highs around 83. Saturday, look for a few pop-up showers, high 82. Sunday, look for widespread heavy rain, but it holds off until Sunday night. The daytime hours on Sunday should be relatively dry, high 84. Memorial Day, looks like we'll have clouds in the morning, sun in the afternoon, high 78. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud on 97.1 The Fan.
Tipico Sportsbook is the exclusive online sportsbook partner of Bishop & Friends. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Distilled sports discussion served in light beer quantities. You're listening to Bishop & Friends.
And we are sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss, fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss is Awaken 180 Weight Loss. We were talking about great talking to Threes again, and it warms my heart, him driving through Georgia, all of those places that I were covering high school football all those years ago. Very, very cool stuff. And revisiting college football game is a big part of his life. You said you had something from, was it Mike Elko?
Yeah, so Travis L. Brown, friend of the program, actually, covers Texas A&M, and they must have had an availability with Mike Elko. So head coach Mike Elko asked if he or his players are excited about playing the new college football video game. Quote, in full disclosure, because I've been a part of this before, you can't imagine how much the release of a hot new video game can impact your football team. I remember going all the way back to when the second Call of Duty came out, and it got released in October in the middle of one of our football seasons. We literally were having meetings with our defense about why it was not good to stay up until 4 a.m. playing Call of Duty. We had practice at 7 o'clock the next morning. End quote.
Kyler Murray had a Call of Duty contract in his contract.
Yes.
He had a Call of Duty clause that he couldn't, so.
And then people started to look into it, and it's like, actually, his stats do dip a little bit around the release of Call of Duty games.
Here's the balance for, for all of those guys. Look, this one drops in the middle of the summer, so you'll be fine. But the balance is because you need a little way to unplug. And a lot of people use video games as a way to unplug. I think I told that story when Tim May kept talking about that simulator game. I put it was on the kid's Xbox, and I downloaded it through the Xbox Live thing, and I would play it. This was probably maybe like 2 years ago, and I would play it as like 15 minutes to kind of like just chill, like just unplug and like fly around Paris. Like that was kind of the way that it worked. So people use it therapeutically to kind of unplug. And I think the balance is how do you do that, but then also like not stay up till 4 a.m. I don't think the college football game would be like that. It doesn't feel as immersive as Call of Duty is.
It's online, but
wrong.
I think the games take long enough that you're not like, okay, let's go another. It's so easy when you're playing one of those big online shooting games that like, okay, let's do another one. Let's go for another round. Oh, we were so close in that one. Let's do another one. But I feel like in the football game, it's like, man, that takes 50 minutes or however long it takes. I'm done, and you turn it off.
My wife has no point of reference. She didn't grow up with video games other than playing like Mario or whatever. And I don't know. I hope this. I guess I don't. I'm trying to think of like even the wives of my buddies. Like, there's really no video game in their past. Like they never played video games. Like, and I don't know if girls do now. Like girls, actually they do, because when NBC had a girlfriend, like they would play Fortnite together. Like that was their social thing.
Yeah.
So they did. I guess that is. That is happening.
What were the big systems when you were like middle school, like Super Nintendo and?
Oh no, middle school would have been like Sega Genesis and NES. Yeah. So then once I got high school and stuff, then it was Super Nintendo and would it have been? Well, the first PlayStation would have been in there.
Sega Saturn, remember that one?
No, I remember the Dreamcast.
Mm-hmm.
That thing was a disaster.
I still have a Dreamcast. You have to put a big book on it to make it work. To hold down the little disc tray.
But I think because there was no online play, and I was never a shooter guy. Like I didn't play the shooter games. So like I'm like the only guy my age who didn't play GoldenEye for the N64. Mm-hmm. I'm the only one. But so I always just played the sports games, and I always just built dynasties and played seasons and. I remember one time in college, maybe like doing an entire season on NBA Live with the Lakers. Like I played all 82. I mean, that takes a focus to do that. And I did that. But I was never into the shooter stuff, but they are now. And you're right from the standpoint, and I'm sure that what Elko's referring to is like what my kids do with Fortnite and my wife is naive to it, they'll say, like, she'll say, okay, one more or stop after this. Well, they view, like, once they drop, for those familiar with Fortnite, like, once you drop in, once that starts, that's 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not like you can't shut it off. And they'll say, well, Dad, if I do this, then Connor gets screwed. And it's like, because he bails. And I'm like, dude, I don't care. Shut it down. That's it. We're done. But they always try to get one more. They always want one more. And once you start a campaign, then you're in.
Yeah, I know that. I mean, that just sounds like the potato chip bag. Like, oh, I'm just going to have one more. And then the bag's gone. And it's 4 a.m. and you got practice at 7.
Yeah. That certainly is the way that it works. But good talking to threes. The deal today with the pay for play and all of it. We talked a lot. We talked with Paul about this last week about the NFL and college football finding a way to row in the same direction. And I do think that the NFL is probably more open to it than ever before because of Greg Sankey and because of Tony Petitti and because of the relationship that both of those guys have and will continue to have with Roger Goodell. The NFL, I know people say, the NFL doesn't care about college. It's not true. They do.
They know what they have.
They know what they have. They know that they have this perfect minor league that gives them curated stars that are marketable immediately as soon as they are drafted. They are not the one that you say a lot about the NFL, and greed certainly rules the NFL, but they're not dumb, and they're not going to do anything to upset that apple cart too much. I do think what you will see is an NFL advisory situation with Sankey and Petitti, because those two guys are running the sport. Charlie Baker's not running the sport. It's Petitti and it's Sankey. And I do think you will have some dialogue between them and Goodell, charting a new path for calendar, charting a new path, perhaps even with some of the labor stuff, because that's what's coming. Is the NFL's labor model. Maybe there's something that comes on that side of thing. I do think that you could see a situation where the very best in the sport separate from everybody else on their own, or maybe at the bottom, we talked about this last week, that the bottom could say, hey, this doesn't serve us. We're going to do our own thing. So there's going to be a lot of tumult in the next couple of years around college football, especially. And I do think that the NFL will be at least there for counsel with Sankey and Petitti going forward.
One thing I'm curious to see play out is because of the money that they're now on the hook to pay out of this settlement, where is all the money? We've talked about ideas of coaches' salaries coming down, or sports going to get cut. One that I see as a possibility for like the conferences at large, especially if moving forward it just becomes even more clear that Tony Petitti and Greg Sankey are running the sport. Bob Bowlesby, an article came out today. Somebody uncovered it, FOIA, whatever. Bob Bowlesby, in his last year being the commissioner for the Big 12, made $17.2 million. I don't think those are going to be there for the guys who really aren't. What are you running? You're not running the top stuff anymore because the SEC and the Big Ten are in charge of everything.
When was Bob Bowlesby's reign? When did it end?
Like 2021 or something like that.
Reese,
Kliavkoff took over for him.
Just help me with this on the math.
Or your
Bowlesby. So Bowlesby, well, you went to Ohio. It's a very good state school. So $17.2 million compensation for a guy who oversaw Texas and Oklahoma leaving his conference. Is that, just so I have that right?
That's accurate. Yes.
That's a good gig for him.
Look, you want to talk about failing upward? Bob, great work. You lost the two most important things in our entire operation. Fantastic job out of you.
I bet Phillips made a lot working for the Pac-12 as he drove it into the ground.
Yeah, if there's one thing we should know about college athletics, and this is why nobody should feel bad for anybody who's having to pay out large sums of money to student athletes and their representatives, is that these institutions and these administrators for years have been paying money to idiots. And they've been not just paying them, but they've been giving them oodles and oodles of cash.
I got ranches.
To do what? Just be ineffective. And then they pay them much more to go away and not do their jobs.
I got ranches.
Or he got a consultant fee because he was done halfway through the year and he got an extra consultant fee. It wasn't that much, but it was on top of it. It's like consulting on what? The demise of the main part of your conference?
Hey, you imagine like him walking into Kevin Warren's office. Kevin, I got news for you. I got the perfect plan for you to lose Ohio State and Michigan and make more money. Just follow my plan. We'll go around the league, the NFL, that is, coming up next. Some interesting comments from Dak Prescott. I don't believe them all, but we'll get to them. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
During this 10-second promo, Rothman will lose money gambling on something.
People like you come here and blow the family nest egg that built this town.
Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan.
Marty Brenneman here for Tri-State Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health for treating erectile dysfunction and low testosterone issues. And they're the leader for a reason, because I can tell you from my own experience of being treated there, Tri-State Men's Health is top shelf. Far too many men wait to get their ED treated, but I want to tell you today that you shouldn't wait any longer. If you're suffering with ED and are like most guys, a medical team at Tri-State Men's Health will get you back on track fast. They have the experience, they have the treatment protocols, and they know what they're doing. At Tri-State Men's Health, they have ED treatments that are effective in well over 90% of men. They can even combine treatments for better results. You might even find yourself performing like you haven't in years. So make an appointment today. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. They have 6 offices in the tri-state area to serve you.
Now at UDF, buy 3 everyday favorites with UDrive Plus to quickly stack an extra 20 cents in gas savings. That includes drinks like Coke and Sprite, Pepsi, and Mountain Dew. And that adds up. UDF, made for you. Specially marked products with an opted-in UDrive account.
Grab life by the chicken fingers and savor the day with hand-battered, cooked-to-order chicken fingers, crispy crinkle-cut fries, buttery Texas toast, and that secret cane sauce that makes everything that much better.
Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
My guys at Germain Lexus are getting ready for the Memorial. What they do every single year is let the golfers drive around in beautiful Lexuses for the week. Then they take those cars and sell them to you. You could be driving Rory's car. The Germain all-month-long celebration's going on right now. You can get great deals like this one. 2024 RX 350, 36-month lease, 10,000 miles per year, $49.99 down, $519 a month. I just picked up my brand new RX 350 a few weeks ago. It is plush. Germain Lexus of Dublin and Easton, GermainLexus.com.
Tita Green with Skip Mosick.
Saturday, Beamer is in for me. He'll chat with PGA professional Ryan Cole from Columbus Country Club and update you on this week's Colonial.
Tita Green with Skip Mosick, presented by X-Golf. Saturday mornings at 9 on The Fan.
When it comes to getting a new roof, are you confident letting just anyone on the roof of your home? I'm Craig Schottenstein, owner of Schottenstein Roofing. Our team is dedicated to delivering outstanding value on every roof we repair or replace. Whether residential or commercial, Schottenstein Roofing meets the needs of every customer. From roof installation and repair to siding and gutters, you name it, we do it. Call Schottenstein Roofing, 614-321-8888 to schedule your free inspection today. Go to schottensteinroofing.com.
Some people just know the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate. Not a rate based on Terry, who keeps and makes the car behind them. Oh no, they're about to. Save with DriveWise in the Allstate app and only pay a rate based on you.
Not available in every state, subject to terms and conditions. Rating factors and savings vary, and in some states your rate could increase with high-risk driving. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
The standing room only, with all eyes on the 18th green.
There was some speed to this.
The sudden roars.
Gauged it just right.
That Sunday celebration.
From Oslo to Ohio, Victor Hovland is the champion.
It's better live. Join us at the Memorial Tournament presented by Workday, June 3rd through 9th. Visit memorialtickets.com today.
Boating season is finally here, and Buckeye Lake Marina is your go-to destination for all your on-the-water needs. With the largest inventory in Central Ohio, you can choose from top brands like Bennington, South Bay, Crown Line, and more. Buckeye Lake Marina has it all. Pontoon boats, luxury tri-toon boats, even merch. Open 7 days a week to serve you better. Find your next dream boat at Buckeye Lake Marina. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com today for all your on-the-water needs. The good life, the lake life, starts at Buckeye Lake Marina.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Our top men are working on everything except this show. This This is Bishop and Friends.
NFL teams in the throes of OTAs, mandatory minicamp coming at the end of the month. Actually, it could be beginning of next month.
It is, yeah. It's like June 4th or something is a lot of them I've seen, yeah.
So one quick aside on this. I always think it's interesting how, remember, these are OTAs, optional is what O stands for, and yet
it actually stands for organized, but they
is it organized?
It's organized team activities that are optional. Bob corrected me on that.
Oh, good job out of Bob. And then you for then correcting me. Sometimes you need an ombudsman, but they are optional. And the thing that I always find funny is when the people report like who's there and who's not. I suppose it's interesting who's there and who's not. But for example, does it matter that Myles Garrett isn't in Berea?
No.
Coaches would like him to be there, I'm sure, but he's the least of your concerns, right? This time of year, especially on the two lines, like Joel Bitonio's not. You don't need to see Joel Bitonio in Berea. You're good. You know what he looks like. You know how that goes.
A lot of vets don't practice a lot during the weeks. Sometimes, why do they need to practice in May?
No, you need quarterbacks throwing to receivers working on timing, especially new quarterbacks and receivers working on timing. With it, sometimes you see some things that you haven't seen before. For example, Joe Burrow, remember we talked about that last week, that he put on some weight to be able to try to be a little bit more durable with the hits. My opinion of that would be maybe don't take the hits like that. Joe, don't hold it quite as long, and then maybe you won't take the hits. There's very little you can be critical of Joe Burrow, but perhaps holding on to the football just a touch too long is part of it. You don't want to wreck what he is, but at the same time, you want him to stay upright because 2 of their 4 seasons down there, he has not. Lamar Jackson went the other way. So Lamar Jackson, this was decent news out of ESPN. Baltimore Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson, since he won his second most valuable player, there's less of him, they write. Jackson indicated he has dropped weight this season to be more agile. I never knew agility was an issue with him. Feels like he's plenty agile as it stands. He was asked why he lost the weight. Here's what he had to say.
I don't really know how many pounds I lost. I'm like 2-something right now, but I just say it was important enough so I can be able to move around a little bit extra. That's all. Just so I can be more agile, be able to move more. I feel great. I feel great to be back out here with my guys, man, grinding and getting better. I feel great.
They listed off some stats in that ESPN article about the amount of 20-yard runs and how that has dipped over the last 3 seasons compared to his first 3 seasons. He doesn't hit the 20 miles per hour mark on the advanced metrics anymore, but but he's evolved his game and started passing and running a little bit less. But if he wanted to get more agile, I guess. I will say too with Joe Burrow, is there any actual empirical evidence that being bulking up and being heavier makes you more durable? Is that true, or do we just think that?
That's Roethlisberger did that. He got pretty thick at the end, but he still get banged.
I pretty much broke my foot when I was fat, so it doesn't help.
I wouldn't think it would. There's probably a balance to all of those things in terms of it. But I think what you want if you're a professional athlete, whether you're Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, however you want to go about it, you just want to be what's most comfortable for you. I think where these guys get into trouble is where they try to become something they're not physically in some cases, or sometimes just the way that they go about their business. You got to do you. Right? You don't get to this point as a professional athlete and not get there by being the best at what you are, the best of your attributes and accentuating those. So when you get these quarterbacks talking, you get Aaron Rodgers, and he had his interesting availability in New York earlier this week. And then you had Dak Prescott, he's waiting on a deal. It's the Dallas Cowboys offseason where they basically did nothing. They kept their coaching staff. They have not done a deal for Prescott. All of these things are kind of hanging over them. Dak was available. This was on Wednesday and was asked about the contract talks. Here's what he had to say.
Business is business. I'll leave it where it gets handled. Right now it's about being my best for this team right now in this moment. OTA is helping these guys out and just focused on that. And I know my business will take care of itself, and so been in it before, experienced, and just controlling what I can right now.
Why have you been able to be so patient when it comes to the business?
I don't play for money. Never have, never cared for it, to be honest with you. Yeah, would give it up to play this game. So I allow that to the business people to say what it's worth, what they're supposed to give a quarterback of my play, person of my play, leader of my play, I guess you can say. And for me, it's about, as I said, control. I can control and handle that part, and the rest will take care of itself.
Oh, it's not the real truth.
He just went too far with saying the right thing.
Yeah, he went too far, trying to be too magnanimous on all of it. I do think he is a very difficult one to try to compensate. because he's not Burrow, he's not Allen, but he's that to them. Like he's more than Cousins, right?
Yeah.
It feels like to me like he's a top 10-ish quarterback.
But is he not reset the market guy? Yeah.
No. So it's under that, but it's not a lot. He's made a great deal of money already quarterbacking the Dallas Cowboys through the years.
Well, and then his second deal with Dallas was like intentionally shorter by his camp so that they would come back to the table again. And it's like, okay, you're saying the business guys handle all that, but and I think that's what he means by when he says never cared for it, but it does sound like, I never cared for money. It's like, well, then why didn't he play for the vet minimum?
Right. Yeah, that's what Jarrah will say. Did you guys see there was a tweet going around yesterday that had the amount of years since the Dallas professional sports teams have played in their conference championship games. So the Mavericks are in it now. Mm-hmm. The Stars are in it now. The Texas Rangers won the World Series last year. The Dallas Cowboys have not played in the NFC Championship game in 28 years.
And they are the most preeminent of not only in Dallas, but really of North American sports teams. And all the other Dallas teams have had the
most valuable.
Yeah, all the other Dallas teams have had more success recently, and even in the times in between there, I'm thinking mostly in the Mavericks, but the Rangers have been pretty good, mostly consistently.
Well, I'm not even talking about like winning a Super Bowl. It struck me that it's been almost 30 years since they've gotten to a NFC championship. 28 years since they got to an NFC championship game.
Remember, Romo never won any playoff games, or he won like one, but like he wasn't like, that was the big thing. They could never win in the playoffs with Romo, and that was, that. And then you go into Dak Prescott, and it's been kind of the same thing with them.
They got the Starship Troopers, I think you should leave meme treatment, where you had the Mavericks and a Starship Trooper going, I'm doing my part. And you had the Stars, I'm doing my part. And you had the Rangers, I'm doing my part. And then I think you should leave pops up with the Cowboys logo. I didn't do bleep and bleep.
So that movie, I think everyone's in on the joke except Casper Van Dien, right? Who's like the lead of it.
Yes.
Isn't he the lead of that movie?
Feels like it.
And he's taking it quite seriously. But it feels like everybody else is aware of what they're doing.
It's the satirical nature of it. It's the same guy who made RoboCop, I believe. Paul something, Van.
Yeah. I feel like there's like the lead guy is the only one who's maybe not aware of what's going on there. But yeah, 28 years since the Cowboys. I mean, can you imagine what like the Yankees not playing in the ALCS in nearly 30 years, or the Lakers not playing in a Western Conference final in 30 years? I guess the most simple comparison would be the Leafs, because it's been a long time for them since they've been there. But hockey and football are not, those two things are not linked.
So we talk about
their popularity. I mean, it's a stunning level it's Notre Dame, really. It's kind of like Notre Dame. Although Notre Dame has played for national titles, played for two of them. They made a playoff and played for one in 2012. But to never get a bite at the apple, it just blew my mind that it had been that long. Obviously aware they hadn't been to a Super Bowl, but would have thought they would have stumbled into an NFC championship game at some point in the last 30 years. That's since Aikman.
Yeah, we talk about how like crazy a place like Cleveland would go if the Browns made it all the way to an AFC title, or even go forward and go to a Super Bowl. But sneakily, you don't think of Dallas in that sense because they're just always so in our face. The Cowboys, America's team, they're on primetime all the time. But I wonder what the city would be like if the Cowboys actually were the top team and made it all the way to the NFC title and were threatening to go to a Super Bowl again.
Well, that's how guys like Michael Irvin get a walk around the way that they do.
Yeah.
That's how Irv can be the way that he does, because they're the last guys to do it. We hit Thing or Not a Thing up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
The sound of Paul Keels calling a Buckeye game is erotic.
Oh, yes.
Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
We always come through for you when you need us to. That's ECO's promise to you. And for AC repair and installation, that means today, not tomorrow. If you have an air-conditioned breakdown, we'll get a tech out to your home today. Or we'll give you a year's EcoFi Advantage membership for free. And make no mistake, we're a repair, not replace company. Our techs are trained to give you all your repair options. Sometimes, though, it just makes more financial sense to replace. And that's where we really come through for you when you need us to. Because we'll replace your AC system same day. No sleeping overnight in a hot, humid house. Or we'll take $1,500 off the cost of your new system and provide you with portable AC units for your bedroom. That's what coming through for you when you need us to means. So if you need AC repair, call ECO for same-day service. We'll get your home cool again. We'll make it happen today.
At geteco.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
All your favorite fan shows are on YouTube. Watch us live or on demand by searching 971 The Fan. Which fan host will awkwardly scratch their privates? Let's find out together. Find us on YouTube, The Fan.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for over 30,000 mouth-watering choices with savings beyond low prices, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. More savings and more inspiring flavors make Kroger worth it every time. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Save big on 12 packs of Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or 7-Up. Select varieties or buy 2, get 3 free with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Spring. It's a season full of new life and new opportunities to celebrate. Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar. From weddings and anniversaries to new babies and graduations, plus everything in between, there's no better place to discover the perfect gift for every occasion than the Diamond Cellar. As a true jeweler, we not only curate the finest selection of luxury jewelry from world-class designers, but we can also create something truly one-of-a-kind just for you. Visit the Diamond Cellar on Sawmill Road or Easton Town Center.
Big things are happening on the east side.
We're ready to deal. Come negotiate during May's Dealin' Days at Lindsay Honda. Lower payments, better financing, more value for any trade. Shop lindsayhonda.com and see new Hondas with thousands in savings plus many other deals. We'll work hard to get you a payment you can afford. Now during May Dealin' Days at Lindsay Honda.
Honda makes the cars, Lindsay makes the difference.
See lindsayhonda.com for program details.
Great coaching can make all the difference, especially when it comes to your money. At Right Pac Credit Union, our financial coaches are on your team. We'll help you create a winning game plan that's customized for your unique needs, so you can make the most of your hard-earned money and live the life you want to live. Best of all, Right Pac Credit Union serves all of Central Ohio, so getting in the game is easy. Let's win together. Stop by one of our Central Ohio member centers to get started today. Equal housing opportunity, insured by NCUA.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Producers, co-hosts, friends, some of those things are true. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Time for a little thing or not a thing. Hit it, fellas.
Thing or not a thing.
Sponsored by Apex Plumbing Pros.
This first one from ESPN. Peyton Manning asked Wednesday night whether he had any desire to run an NFL franchise. Said he'd rather stick to his Monday Night Football alternative broadcast on ESPN with brother Eli that just won its second Sports Emmy. Manning said before being honored for his community work at a banquet, quote, "Eli and I really have a lot of fun doing the show. I think a big reason for that is I do it from here in Denver and he does it from New Jersey. I think we're very happy about being able to do it and be home on the weekends and be home 10 minutes after the show." Manning said the Manning cast allows the brothers to, quote, still be a part of their kids' lives on the weekend. Manning and his wife Ashley have 13-year-old twins Marshall and Mosley. Quote, "Mosley plays volleyball and I go to her games from like 4 to 5 on Mondays and I drive over to my buddy's garage and get to call Monday Night Football game," Manning said. "It doesn't really make a lot of sense and for some reason they've renewed us to do it." End quote. Thing or not a thing?
So, interesting thing, because nobody would have had this when he got done playing. Everybody thought he would go the Elway route and he would go run an operation. But here's the reality. Peyton Manning has more money than he can spend. And so with that money comes security. And with security comes the ability to do the things you want, not the things you have to. So that's Like when Forrest Gump said, well, that's one less thing. That's what money does. It allows for you to do the things you want to do versus the things you have to do. And so what he's describing here is lifestyle. He's got a great lifestyle. He can coach his kid's football team if he wants to. He can go to his daughter's volleyball games if he wants to. I think the most remarkable thing of all of this is that who's this buddy that allowed him to build a studio in his garage to call Monday Night Football? And why did Manning not just build the studio himself? That's the thing that took the biggest note for me. Like the rest of it, I totally get, but like, who's the buddy?
And how did we not previously know this? I feel like we paid pretty close attention to the Manning cast, and I always thought they were both in their basements.
It's a thing that he's able to have the financial freedom to do just whatever he wants to do. And so this is exactly what he wants to do. And I feel like in the developments or neighborhoods that Manning does live in, one of the buddies is probably like an investor in Omaha Productions and likely just threw out there, sure, you can build it in my garage. Like I'm not, in one of my many garages. I'm sure he has enough money to not have just one, but several houses.
No, this is Cherry Hill.
If you live with Peyton Manning, or around Manning.
This is Cherry Hill neighborhood. This is right at the foothills of the Rockies. I mean, you're living your best life. I also think it's amazing. Like, he spent all of that time in Indiana, and you would have said, well, you're going to go back to Indiana, and actually, I'm going to go to Denver. I like this better. That
was one of the quotes he kind of had. He was like, I like being like an ambassador for Tennessee and Indianapolis and Denver, but I'm a little bit more involved with the Broncos. I'm paraphrasing, but a little bit more involved with the Broncos because I'm in town. He says key fob still works. He goes into the workout facility, all that.
Yeah, because it's a better place to live. Denver's better than Indianapolis.
You don't say.
Yeah.
And you don't have to deal with Jim Irsay.
No, and the Rocky Mountains are pretty damn cool, man.
About 10 minutes from now, Cavaliers general manager Kobe Altman's going to hold a press conference, the first since dismissing J.B. Bickerstaff earlier this week. Earlier this morning, Brian Windhorst was on Get Up to discuss, what Altman might be discussing today.
Cavs president Kobe Altman is going to have a press conference today trying to explain his rationale behind firing J.B. Bickerstaff. You look at the last 4 years, they went from lottery team to play-in to playoffs to second round, and they still made the coaching change. And what Kobe is not going to really probably be able to articulate, but was absolutely a factor here, is the Donovan Mitchell piece. Every decision the Cavs make between now and when Donovan Mitchell makes his decision on a contract extension in July is going to be wrapped around that. And Donovan Mitchell and J.B. Bickerstaff's relationship was something that concerned the Cavs. It was absolutely a factor in the decision to fire him. They're going to protect their star player. That is what they're going to do. But this coaching move and the person that they hire will be Donovan Mitchell related. And when they do meet with him after the finals, because that's when they're allowed to talk to him and offer the contract extension, the new coach and the new coach's plan and the offseason roster will be a big part of that presentation.
Thing or not a thing?
Does the Get Up audience care about all that? Like, that feels like a very Cleveland hyper, like, give a damn. Like, why would the Get Up audience care about the intricacies of the Cleveland Cavaliers summer and the firing of J.B. Bickerstaff? How many in their audience can even tell you J.B. Bickerstaff was the coach of the Cavs? Or who the hell Kenny Atkinson is? Or whoever? Like, I don't know. To me, that all just seems like it's news for us, for sure. It's a thing for us, because the feeling that you get is that they feel very confident that Donovan Mitchell is going to re-sign and that they will do everything around him that he wants. So does that lead to the eventual trade of Darius Garland, or what does that mean for Allen going forward? All of those things, for sure. But I just thought that was fascinating that he just did like 45 seconds on the Cavaliers coaching situation on a national television show.
Well, he's probably just still so connected there that it's easy to source for him.
But they asked him the question. Well, he's not just saying it independently.
Well, do you think they go into? But don't they go into the production meetings and say like, "Hey, what are we going to hit today?" So I would say that would be my thing. But it's interesting because it's Jason Lloyd, who's up there in Cleveland, right through the Athletic. He had an article today that basically was all that same information about how there were other little things. One of them being like he was too hands-on during shoot-arounds and practices and wanted to control everything. And it's like, well, yeah, he's the coach, and Lloyd wrote that off as like that's just kind of normal, like gripes that players have. But the other one was the real one, that he lost Donovan Mitchell, and if you lose your star player, they're going to side with the star player most of the time, especially when it's not like J.B. Bickerstaff has a ton of built-up credit in the Cleveland Cavaliers organization or across the NBA. This is his first real shot at really taking over a franchise. He had a couple of interim roles before this, so that's where it is. And if they make that move, yeah, it's just pushing more chips in of we are trying to get Donovan Mitchell to stay.
And I will say that was probably more of a what's Mitchell's future look like segment. Okay. And they would have just wrapped the whole J.B. Bickerstaff relationship in with that in saying to their audience, here's what we think Mitchell might do. Here's what the Cavaliers want to do to keep Donovan Mitchell. Because as of right now, pending LeBron, Mitchell's the biggest fish that'll be out there.
I would bet
July.
you anything that segment started with, there was a report this week that the Lakers would have an interest in Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
I bet it started there and got to there. Yeah.
This one, we talk so much about college football in this, but this from Mike DeCourcy on why the NCAA settlement is good for March Madness and smaller conferences. That's the most important consideration for all of them, that the tournament will endure and continues to provide the opportunity for any of them to make a loud statement in the same form as St. Peter's, Fairleigh Dickinson, and Oakland did the past few years. The pursuit of that moment is why we now have 362 Division I men's basketball programs, nearly a 20% increase since 1997. Members of the media have prognosticated for years that there soon would be a split by major power conferences from the NCAA that would lead to the demise of the best sporting event in America that it has to offer. But soon, past years ago, and this development figures to take us well beyond eventually. Because if the football powers were to bolt at any time, this settlement is being amortized. They'd have to write their own check for $64 million or $128 million or $192 million. If what remains of the Power Five desired to set up their own shop halfway through this process, they'd start $320 million in the hole. Thing or not a thing?
Mike really loves the NCAA tournament.
He does.
I like having Mike on a lot, but I don't think this is a thing. I think that the one thing that he's missing, and I believe that, yes, Cinderella's great. It's wonderful. Cinderella largely, though, doesn't rate. So if the Power Two and whoever else they want to invite wanted to do their own basketball tournament, that's the one we'd all watch. And that's the one that would get all the money.
If it's worth upwards of $1 billion, what is 320 in the hole for 1 year?
Yeah, they're fine. They would very easily work around it and would dwarf and dominate the other one. So I love Mike. I love having him on, but he's being clouded a little bit by how much he loves the event.
Yeah, there's a lot of romanticism in that statement. And it's well, that's not necessarily reality, because isn't there an NIL, an NIL-focused tournament coming to Las Vegas somewhere in the next couple of years that's independent from the NIT-style one that Fox wants to do? So are we 2 years out from the NCAA tournament not even being a thing if you're going to get some of the more powerful and prouder programs like UNC and Kansas saying, no, we're just going to go to this one that pays us?
It's all in play. And I think we've learned that this week, and it's among the things we've learned this week, is that there's going to be a new path for college sports. Here's the crib notes thing, though. It's not going to affect the way you view it, I don't think, much at all. We'll get to it coming up next. Final hour of the week. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Here's a listener tweet. Can I tase Common Man in the nuts? Fine by us, but he may like it. Common Man and Tebow.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
The Fan.
Legend has it, underneath the NJM insurance offices lies a mysterious room of long-forgotten, moldy mascot memorabilia, often pitched by ad agencies, always rejected by NJM. Is it real? We may never know. But what is real is NJM's dedication to doing what's right for their customers. Astoundingly, they're proud to put policyholders first. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. Learn more at njm.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. We believe that every sport should be epic. Every goal, every game, every point, every play. From the moments that are legendary to the ones that fly under the radar. Whether it's a game-winning goal in the final seconds of OT or a shot on goal in the first period.
Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be present in Ohio. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply.
The standing room only, with all eyes on the 18th green.
There was some speed to this.
The sudden roars.
Gauged it just right.
That Sunday celebration.
From Oslo to Ohio, Victor Hovland is the champion.
It's better live. Join us at the Memorial Tournament presented by Workday, June 3rd through 9th. Visit memorialtickets.com today.
Two guys drove to work. Neither guy wore a seatbelt. One guy got a ticket. One guy didn't. The same two guys drove home. One guy wore his seatbelt. One guy didn't. One guy made it home. The guy not wearing his seatbelt didn't. Don't risk it. Click it or ticket. Paid for by NHTSA.
This summer, click into cordless power with Memorial Day savings at the Home Depot. Tackle more than half an acre of grass with the convenience and gas-like power of the Ryobi 40-volt battery-powered mower. And keep your flower beds fresh with a 40-volt cordless string trimmer. Then clear debris with the 40-volt jet fan leaf blower. Click into Memorial Day savings happening now at your cordless power source, the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. The Cincinnati Reds are in the middle of a 9-game homestand. The Padres were 6-4 winners last night in 10 innings. The LA Dodgers will visit Ohio's Queen City this weekend. Game 1 of a 3-game sets tonight at 7:10. Graham Ashcraft will toe the rubber for the Redlegs Friday. The St. Louis Cardinals will be at the Great American Ballpark starting on Monday. As for the Guardians, Cleveland takes its 6-game win streak to Los Angeles this weekend to battle the Angels. First pitch tonight in Game 1 is 9:38. In the NBA, Cavaliers general manager Kobe Altman is scheduled to hold a press conference in the next few minutes. He'll likely address the future of the franchise following the firing of J.B. Bickerstaff earlier this week. On the court tonight, the Timberwolves host the Mavericks in Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals. Tip-off from Minneapolis is 8:30. Hear that one on the Fan following the Buckeye Show. And on the ice in New York, the Rangers host the Panthers tonight in Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Final. Breaking sports news when it happens on the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
The uncle you never knew you had. The friends you kind of wish you didn't. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, final hour of the week on really one of my favorite Fridays of the year, heading into Memorial Day weekend. We put it up on the poll in terms of, is this the best Friday of the year? The other ones we're getting is Black Friday, Friday of Labor Day. Reese, your argument was for any Friday attached to 4th of July. Is the UA parade on the Friday, or is it always on 4th of July?
It'll be, I believe, on Thursday. I'll have to double check that. But it's Thursday's the 4th this year, so it rolls right into a Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
That's a hell of a first Friday, that one, right? Get that first Friday and then you got 2 days and a big long weekend. Stacking a lot of dubs there with that one. Did you guys see? I saw this morning. Did you guys watch? Are you guys too young to have watched the show Lost?
I watched it on Netflix, like binged it in college, I think.
I started with it the first season. I was week to week with it. And then the second season came out. And I'm not sure why I didn't stick with it, but I just didn't.
I do remember its cultural impact, though. I was old enough to know that it was on.
So it was probably it was around that time. It was similar time. It came a little bit after the Sopranos, and the Sopranos, like the peak of that started the anti-hero thing was the Sopranos with Tony and all of that, and then it was a little bit after that, but not much. But what it was for sure was it was much like Game of Thrones in the sense that you would write that there was an industry writing about it. Like that was a big industry. Yeah. Was writing and talking about Lost, like what happened, and try to make sense of what was happening week to week. And I watched it I want to say on DVD. A buddy gave me the DVDs. So I binged it and then caught up to live time. But today, the reason I asked, today was the day the finale aired.
Okay.
Was 14 years ago today. The finale aired. And I remember they went to great lengths to say, like, hey, this wasn't purgatory. Like, they kept saying it's not purgatory. Because the whole time you didn't know what it was. You don't know where are we? We're in a dream world. Is this what's real? What's not? And it got pretty crazy at the end. And very clearly, it seems like those guys were kind of making it up as they went along. The pilot's one of the great pilots ever. And some of that's been documented. But in the end, it was just that. It was purgatory is the way that it kind of worked out.
Yeah, that's J.J. Abrams' thing. He likes the idea. He always talks about it of the mystery box. And so he was big on the creation of that show. And yeah, it was. But the problem with mystery box is they didn't actually decide what was in the box. They gave the audience the mystery box, and we were all so interested in what's in it, but they didn't decide at the beginning, apparently, It kind of feels that way at least, what was in the box. And so it's like, well, what were you building towards?
I don't think they were. I think it was such a phenomenon that they just said, give us all of it.
And I think that was also an issue is like, it probably had a shorter plan to it, but it was so successful that, was it on Fox, I think? The network was like...
No, it was on NBC.
I thought ABC.
Or was it ABC? Maybe it was ABC.
And it was at least the first season started every Wednesday.
Okay.
And so I remember that after the pilot, because I just, for whatever reason, just never cared as much about a Wednesday show as I did about a Monday or a Friday. Because I remember 24 was on at the kind of the same time.
Yeah.
But it was Mondays. And so that was a big thing every Monday night was you were right there for 24 and... Well, the NFL and Monday Night Raw, but Wednesdays I never held in much regard.
Yeah.
ABC had it, yeah.
Good job at you, Reese. So from 2004 to yesterday in 2010, 121 episodes. Good Lord, that's
once you
daunting.
get to the 100, you get that syndication money too.
Well, yeah. Where is it streaming now, I wonder?
I don't know.
Probably Hulu.
Yeah, if it's because that would be ABC would be Disney, so Hulu or maybe it's weird. I never know what's going to be on Disney Plus now. There's some really random stuff that they push on there.
Real quick to Lost. When did the smoke start getting people?
Oh, that was at the end.
Was that the end of the series or the end of the first season?
Well,
something happened. I was like, I'm kind of out on
this.
But
you were just there, right?
I was there where they filmed it. Yeah. I was in the Dharma. I was in the
bunker.
The Dharma bunker where they filmed it. Yeah, it's in Oahu, at this place called Jurassic Ranch, where they also filmed The Lost World was filmed there. Not Jurassic Park. That was filmed on Kauai, I think.
Okay.
But The Lost World was filmed there. So yeah, we were there. I saw the Dharma. I was wondering if it would hold up. I watched it once. I've never gone back. I'm wondering if I watched the pilot, would it hold up? And would that be that might be something NBC might like more than these teenage nonsense that he's watching now. I keep trying to find stuff for him. I think he might like Lost.
I think
it's on network TV.
I think the problem you would find is it would probably feel like a lot of filler because it is network TV. So it's 22 episode seasons, whereas a lot of those prestige shows are 10 episodes at most.
Such a commitment if you want to rewatch it.
Oh, I could never do it. I just wonder if the pilot would lock in the way that because the pilot's one of the great pilots ever.
Yeah, it worked for me in college. Then
I'll say probably.
I would think so. I watched the Shane Gillis show last night, The Tires on Netflix. That was served to me on the Netflix show last night. It's basically like a R-rated The Office.
Okay, I couldn't tell by it looks like it's a multicam laugh track show. That's what the
no, there's no laugh track.
Okay, so it's not.
There's no laugh track.
Good.
No, it is. It feels like The Office. Is what it feels like, except it's in a tire shop.
Yeah, all right.
But he feels like he hits a lot of what he's doing right now. So I watched the first episode. It's all right.
Yeah, I think
I was hoping it would be like
checking it out. Yeah,
I was hoping it would be like Kenny Powers. It's not there yet. Now, not to say that it can't get there, but I think those guys are on it too. I think the Powers group are part of the producers behind it.
Hard to expect anybody to be Danny McBride.
No, he's the funniest guy on the planet. All right, here's what we learned.
We're not trying to do too much around here, but over the course of 5 days, you might have gleaned some stuff. Bishop and Friends present What We've Learned This Week.
You know, when you look back at the week, there's a lot of headlines for this. I mean, you got Jaden Rashada suing Billy Napier and a collective about money that wasn't given to him and what that could lead to. So this is our first litigation where we have, hey, I was promised this and I didn't get it. So that's something that'll be fascinating. And also that a coach is involved, which they according to NCAA rules, aren't supposed to be. But obviously they all are.
Well, and they also can't investigate it now.
Right.
They lost the court case.
It's a mess, a total mess. The big headline of the week was obviously the fact that we're finally getting to pay for play. I don't think it will impact you. The gross many of you, it's not going to impact at all. Your games are going to look the same. All of it's going to be the same. It will put constraints on some athletic departments. There will be tough decisions that have to be made where they have, in previous years paid for things that they didn't have to pay that much for, and some of those things are going to change. It could be an instance where in some cases sports go away. But look, we talk mostly about Ohio State football around here, and the Ohio State athletic department. It's going to be more than fine. It'll be more than fine. Everybody else is going to have a tough time on things, and that's the nature of the business. And quite honestly, they got what they deserved on this. The big takeaway, and we had Amanda Kristovich on, I really recommend you, I know we put that out on our social channels, to get a better handle on if you're interested in like the nuts and bolts of this and how the sausage got made. She's got it. Like that interview that I did with her earlier this week, I think it was on Wednesday. That one really has like what this actually means, and most especially what it doesn't mean.
Yeah,
because there's a lot more coming here on this front. And while they did this, I think as a good faith olive branch, hoping that Congress would save them still. And if we've learned anything about Congress is that they won't, and they're not capable, even if they wanted to. So there will be much more of this to come.
The only thing that I think from a fan perspective that you might notice, but I think people are just being cautious right now, because we had in the last week 2 stories that kind of go for conflicting ideas of 2 programs that should and would have the money to do this stuff. But Nebraska kind of put their stadium renovation on hold for now of what they want to do and how they're going to do it and how they're going to pay for it. But Penn State approves an up to $700 million budget to renovate Beaver Stadium. So they still feel confident that they're going to have it. But that could be maybe the only thing. At some schools, there might be some buildings and renovation type things that get pulled back. And maybe you might feel that a little bit. But it's hard to know what you don't have. If they cancel a renovation, you don't know what you're missing out on.
Also, I saw something floating around that there was like, in reference to the NCAA settlement, like a breakdown of who owes what conference-wise.
Yeah, that stuff's starting to leak out.
Would some just be like, no, we're not doing that?
Well, if the NCAA wants to like get it from withholding payment? I guess that's how it would work if you just said, yeah, I'm leaving the NCAA. Because my understanding is that, yeah, it's not that the school's writing a check to the NCAA. It's the NCAA just holding on to payout money.
Because I thought about that as you're referencing Nebraska and putting the money on hold. It's like, well, if the money's not there, do you go to your booster base and be like, hey, we need the money because we got to pay the NCAA settlement? And then Cornhusker alums are like, no, bleep them.
Yeah, there's a lot of monetary factors to this. There's the one in terms of, it's going to be withheld money. But then the other part is the $20 million now that you have to pay. So that part is, you have to decide who you're going to pay. Who's going to be the one to do that? Like, think about that. You have, if they have to follow, and according to this they do, if they have to file Title IX guidelines on this, you have 85 scholarship football players. All of them deserve a cut of the $90 million, of the $20 million, right? How big that cut is, who knows? It's not going to be much by the time you split it that far. So you have to have an equal disbursement to female athletes. Those numbers have to match.
Well, but
so how are they going to get around that?
Is it numbers as far as monetary value or as far as people?
I would assume it would be monetarily.
I don't know.
Everything with Title IX has to be equal. If you spend this much on this, you got to spend this much on this. But I guess
it's you have to have the same amount of opportunity.
The same amount of opportunity, but isn't money opportunity?
But not every scholarship costs the same amount, and not every it's not like they're spending.
What a mess!
It's not like they're spending as much on women's sports at Ohio State as they do on the football program. There's just an equal amount of female athletes with scholarships and male athletes with scholarships.
If your head hurts, you're not alone.
It's not going to impact your games, kids. And it's not going to even come into effect until 2025. So this year's not going to be an issue anyway. And by the way, by the time you get to 2025, there's going to be 6 more things like this that happen that are also going to change the landscape of all of it. We'll have Doug on it at 11:33 and talk about some of these things. I did think the big headline sports media-wise this week was the NBA going away from Turner. And in conjunction with that, the reality that we got the Fox television package for the fall, and primetime sports are coming. They're coming. The NBA NBC deal is going to be basketball night in America. So they're going to go from football night in America on Sundays to the NBA on Sunday nights. It's going to be basketball night in America. And Fox is programming. They lose SmackDown this fall. And when they lose it, they're going to replace it with college football games. And then when that's done, they're going to replace it with college basketball games. When that's done, they're going to replace it with UFL. But you're going to have sports in prime time on network television regularly now. That's where we're at. And I will give Fox a lot of credit. I don't love us playing at noon all the time, but they are pretty forward thinking when it comes to the way that they utilize their partnerships and the things that they're in business with. Big Noon works. It's been an absolute hit. I don't love it, but it's been a hit. Friday Night College Football is going to be a hit. I think NBC learned from that, and I think Sunday Night Basketball Night in America, I think it's going to be a hit. Not to the level that football is, but it doesn't have to be. It's just got to make more financial sense for them than producing 3-hour-long dramas that they used to have to produce.
Yeah, Fox did a really good job of just saying, okay, what do people want? Oh, live sports. Well, when are they not served that? Let's serve it to them in those time periods. Noon on Saturdays for college football, and now Friday night for college football, and keep going on with whatever other sports they can get their hands on.
Yeah, pretty brilliant stuff. On that side of things. We'll go over some of the college football stuff with Doug coming up at 11:33. Coming up next, Dan Campbell and the Lions, Super Bowl or bust. Which team that hasn't won the Super Bowl is going to get one first? There's a lot of competitive teams in this list. We'll get to it coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We used to have a billboard with our host's face on it, but only ugly people work here now.
You mama say you ugly, hey!
The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Right now during Jeep 4x4 season, well-qualified lessees get a low-mileage lease on the 2024 Jeep Compass Limited 4x4 for $379 a month for 42 months with $3,837 due at signing. Tax, title, license extra. No security deposit required. Call 1-888-925-JEEP for details. Requires dealer contribution and lease through Stellantis Financial Services. Extra charge for miles over 35,000. Not all customers will qualify. Residency restrictions apply. Take delivery by 6/3/2024. Jeep is a registered trademark.
Ohio Mulch, Landscape Supply.
Hi, this is Ron Frost with Ohio Mulch, and here's to Ohio Mulch celebrating 40 years of making the community a greener and more beautiful place, one garden at a time. Don't miss out on the opportunities to elevate your outdoor space and to be part of a journey towards the next 40 successful years. Check out our promotions online at ohiomulch.com.
Ohio Mulch, Landscape Supply. Greener, greener, better.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Some people just know the more you protect, the more you save with Allstate. Because they know insurance math. Like if you protect your home and auto, Allstate can save you up to 25%. So it's like losing money if you don't bundle. Save more when you protect more. Bundle home and auto with Allstate today.
Bundled savings vary by state and are not available in every state. Saving up to 25% is the countrywide average of the maximum available savings off the home policy. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
With spring ball behind us, we're officially gearing up for the most anticipated football season ever. Excited, nervous, terrified to your very core? Think of us as your emotional safe space. Always your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan.
Meet Cheryl. Hey, she's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's gotta be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Have you lost Ohio Medicaid? At healthcare.gov, you can find a low-cost, quality health plan.
Do plans cover doctor visits?
What about emergency care?
And prescriptions?
All covered and more. Plus, with the new law, 4 out of 5 customers can find a plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll today for coverage starting the 1st of next month. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
This is the sound of a popular American motorcycle. It's the sound of freedom, the open road, really good times. And this is what it sounds like with a drunk guy in it. How do you like the sound of that? Cops are cracking down on drunk motorcycle riders. If you ride drunk, you will get caught and you will get arrested. Drunk riding. Over the limit, under arrest. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Transportation.
Proper tree care is an investment that can lead to substantial returns and increased personal enjoyment. Hiring a certified arborist can help care for your trees and add considerable value to your property. Inspections by Ohio ISA certified arborists can often find and mitigate tree defects before they fail. Only professionals with specialized knowledge and training are properly equipped to provide appropriate care. To find an arborist, visit trees4ohio.org. That's trees4ohio.org. Not wearing your seatbelt could cost you a ticket or your life. Don't risk it. Click it or ticket. Paid for by NHTSA.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We're going to be tracking a sunny day out there today with highs around 83. Saturday, look for a few pop-up showers, high 82. Sunday, look for widespread heavy rain, but it holds off until Sunday night. The daytime hours on Sunday should be relatively dry, high 84. Memorial Day, looks like we'll have clouds in the morning, sun in the afternoon, high 78. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud on 97.1 The Fan.
Tipico Sportsbook is the exclusive online sportsbook partner of Bishop & Friends. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
The best hair on the air. You were listening to Bishop & Friends.
NFL schedules came out a couple of weeks ago, and in doing so, you play the schedule game. We did it here with the Bengals. We did it with the Browns. Took a look at the AFC North in general and kind of looked at the pecking order, did so around the league. And one of the things I kind of came to the conclusion with in the NFC especially is that, man, oh man, Detroit and San Francisco, right? And this is the closest the Detroit Lions have been to being a Super Bowl contender in a very, very long time. They've paid their guys. Amon St. Brown was compensated this offseason. Jared Goff compensated healthily this offseason. They have a very good roster. They're ready-made. Go chase it. Dan Campbell was available this week and addressed it if it's Super Bowl or bust.
I don't see bust. I see Super Bowl. I don't know what the bust is. So every team ought to have that, right? Every team ought to be like, man, what are you playing for? You're playing for a Super Bowl. So we're no different than that. Now, we work backwards from there. And so you got to set yourself up no different than last year. Certain things you got to do to really make that valid, make that a reality. So, yeah, ultimately that's what we want to do. Now, to do that, you better win the division. You got to give yourself the best odds you can, right? You need to win the division. You need the best seeding you possibly do. Okay, well, how do you do that? Well, you got to start with where we're at now. You got to go back to work. You got to do all the little things, which to this point our guys have done, man. They've been here for offseason. They're grinding. They're working. We're in good shape. We're strong. We're physical. We're explosive. And we're just in the beginning of this.
He's so great.
He had a really good chance to do a great turn of phrase there when he's like, I don't see bust. The only bust I'm worried about is getting some of these guys one in the hall.
Just go there.
Yeah.
Go take. What's stopping him, man?
He says I see Super Bowl. Why not mention the Hall of Fame too?
Go there too. So there are 12 teams who have never won a Super Bowl, which is really quite stupefying when you think they've been doing this for over 50 years. And some of these have been around for a great many of those. In fact, the entire Super Bowl run, including the Lions we mentioned. The Arizona Cardinals have never won a Super Bowl. The Atlanta Falcons have never won a Super Bowl. The Buffalo Bills have never won a Super Bowl. The Carolina Panthers, the Cincinnati Bengals, the Cleveland Browns, the Detroit Lions, the Texans, the Jaguars, the Chargers, the Vikings, and the Titans. Those are the ones who have not won it. In terms of the teams that have been around the entire time that there's been a Super Bowl, that would be Cleveland, Buffalo. When did the Bengals come into existence? In the 60s?
Yeah,
Brown
the Vikings have been around for a really long time, too.
They've been around, I think, most of that time. Cardinals, for sure. They're the oldest.
Yeah, they were the St. Louis Cardinals, yeah.
Well, they're Chicago.
Right.
But weren't they Chicago Cardinals before that? I think Chicago to St. Louis to Arizona. So they've been out there a very long time. But, yeah, so these are the teams that haven't. As I was going through the list, I think there's like 6 of these teams that feel like they could end that streak. And certainly the Lions are at the top of that list, but would argue that the three in the AFC are also right there. Cincinnati being the most ready to go. I mean, they're the only one on this list who beat Mahomes in the postseason. So they've done it. And if they're healthy, then if Burrow's healthy and upright, then they're a team that's going to get to an AFC championship game. They've proven that. So they're right there. Buffalo's been knocking on the door now for the last 3 or 4 years in the Josh Allen window. It's tougher now than it used to be, but they're still there. Cleveland has everything. They just need a quarterback to play to his. I mean, Deshaun Watson doesn't even have to be Watson of 3 or 4 years ago. He just needs to be like 80% of that, and they're going to be in the mix because the rest of their roster is so good. The other teams that I think are probably in that Super Bowl thing, or at least Texans probably feel like they're close. They feel like they're knocking on the door, and I bet Atlanta feels that way too with Cousins.
Yeah, I came up with like 3 categories for this when you put this question in there, and I saw, okay, here are the 12 teams. There are ones that, like, I wouldn't be surprised if they were in the Super Bowl and won it this year, and that was the Bengals, the Lions, the Browns, the Bills, and I threw the Texans in there because with a good quarterback, anything is possible, and they've shown that it works. Then I have the maybes, so they could get into that, but I would be like, oh, wow, that really all came together for them, and that's the Falcons, the Jags. And I even threw in the Titans because I find them interesting in how they're trying to redo their entire team, and I don't think they're as low as the ones that it would surprise me if even in the next few years they were in this. And that's the Cardinals, the Panthers, the Chargers, and the Vikings.
I think the only swap I would make is Chargers for Titans. Because I'll take Justin Herbert over Will Levis.
That's fair.
And Harbaugh can win. So we've seen that. He won it immediately with the 49ers. And so I would just swap those two out. Otherwise, I think you're pretty close. Reese, what are your thoughts on not being surprised with the Browns winning a Super Bowl?
If I would be surprised?
That's right.
I would be floored if the Browns won a Super Bowl. Yeah. Like, I can't even. People ask. I've been asked a lot. What would you do if the Browns won the Super Bowl? Like, hold on, we gotta get the Browns. You know, well, it used to be we gotta get the Browns into the playoffs, and now it's we gotta get the Browns to an AFC Championship game. Then I'll let you know how that goes. I don't know. It's unfathomable at this point.
You might just go to your chair on Northwest Boulevard and just sit and stare.
So we had a comment on YouTube because the Fans Live on YouTube now about the chairs on Northwest Boulevard. Yeah. Those come out around and after Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
Like if you see, there's Zollinger and Northwest have 2 chairs out right now, I think right in front of Donato's, but those were put up by the UA Civic Association.
Has there ever been an accusation of moving chairs? Is that a big controversial thing?
It gets bad, especially day of.
Yeah.
Like I had neighbors last year that we were walking towards, like, somebody moved our chairs. And that's why you see caution tape. That's why you see chairs that are bungee cord. That's why you see chairs that are tied to trees. Oh, it gets pretty wild. I'll just say this as a public service: if a chair's set up and it's the day of, don't move it. Like, just find another spot.
I can't believe they don't blow down the street over the course of that month.
Well, that's why you got to tie them down.
Yeah, make sure that
some do. I've seen people put plastic chairs out a little too early that do get blown around by the wind. Yeah. And whenever you see the chair back up on either the sidewalk or the curb, it's got several holes in it.
What if you put it up a few weeks in advance? Like, what happens to your spot if, say, there's a car accident and somebody hits your chairs and they get destroyed? Do you still have that spot, or do you have to get new chairs and reclaim?
Luck. I would say you'd have to get new chairs and reclaim.
Probably looking at new chairs. It sounds like going to
go. If there's hopefully there's not in any situation. No, but yeah, if your chair's too mangled to sit in, I'd throw the chair out.
Yeah, there's back to the 12 teams. There's a lot that are in the mix this year to end it. And there's a lot of them that are in a window. The Bills, the Bengals, the Browns, all are in right now. Go right now. The Lions are in right now too, but Lions actually seem a little bit more sustainable because I think you know what Goff is, and he's been able to play seasons healthy. The only thing that's stopping the Bengals from having a bunch of bites at this apple is just Burrow's health. He's got to stay upright, which is something he's only done half the time since he's been in the league. And that, other than that, they're good to go on this thing. But there should be optimism in a lot of these camps that this streak and this drought of non-Super Bowls could come to an end for a lot of these teams that are on this list. Get some perspective on a very big week in college athletics from Doug Lesmerises coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
An ex-jock and a very puffy, smooth-faced man. These are the first voices you should hear. Morning Juice. Your wake-up service.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 9.
The Fan.
Right now during Ram season, well-qualified lessees get a low-mileage lease on the 2024 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab, 4x4 for $479 a month for 42 months, with $4,279 due at signing. Tax, title, license extra. No security deposit required. Call 1-877-RAM-5722 for details. Requires dealer contribution and lease through Stellantis Financial. Extra charge for miles over 35,000. Not all customers will qualify. Residency restrictions apply. Take delivery by 6/3/2024.
Hey, it's Bobby. When you have a large investment like a new roof, you want to work with a company you can trust. One with 30 years of experience and hundreds of 5-star Google reviews, 0 complaints with the BBB. That's Newman Roofing. So go check them out at newmanroofing.com or give them a call at 614-NEW-ROOF.
Spring is a season full of new life and new opportunities to celebrate. Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar. Anniversaries, new babies, graduations, plus everything in between, discover the perfect gift for every occasion. Visit us at the Diamond Cellar on Sawmill Road or Easton Town Center.
2 guys drove to work. Neither guy wore a seatbelt. One guy got a ticket. One guy didn't. The same 2 guys drove home. One guy wore a seatbelt. One guy didn't. One guy made it home. The guy not wearing his seatbelt didn't. Don't risk it. Click it or ticket. Paid for by NHTSA.
Common Man and T-Bone here for the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus.
It's our absolute favorite place to go for that live VIP sportsbook experience. 12,000 square feet of sportsbook action. 2 huge walls of TVs, not to mention delicious food and drink. But your experience can be even better if you download the Penn Play app.
Yep, you can get up to $140 in rewards. It's so easy, dummies like us can do it. Got to download the free Penn Play app today and cash in your bonuses. Plus, you never know, and you'll see Man and I lurking around.
I'm lurking. Must be 21 or over. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The Memorial is coming, and we'll be there, and you'll be there, and we'll all be, you get the point. The Fan is broadcasting live from the Memorial.
Sponsored by Ohio for Responsible Gambling and Orthopedic One.
The Fan.
Your Memorial Day weekend haul can be found with one stop at Meijer. Pick up fresh from Meijer 80% lean ground beef family pack for just $2.99 a pound. Plus, buy 5, save $5 on Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce, Breyer's ice cream, and 24-pack Coca-Cola or Pepsi products. Plus deposit where applicable. And rev up your savings and earn 50 points per gallon of gas pumped at any Meijer Express through June 1st. Get everything you need for Memorial Day this week at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
There's a little slice of heaven in a mountain town escape. A pace of life that's less hurried, more authentic, where people greet you with a smile and experiences feel down to earth, yet elevated. From Appalachian art to wineries and craft breweries, live music to a lively spirit. This is West Virginia. We call it Almost Heaven. Plan your getaway now at wvtourism.com.
Hey, it's Anthony here for the Good Feet store. You know, we do a segment on the show every week called Pressure, but that's about sports. What about the pressure your feet endure every day? I know mine did. When I went to the Good Feet store, I learned I was out of line. I joked, I already know that. They said, no, physically, my feet weren't being supported the right way. So when I went to the store on Polaris Parkway, they also have one on Stringtown Road, I took all the time I needed to walk around the store to see what felt and fit the best in my shoes. Once I had them in, my personal arch supports from the Good Feet store, my lower back pain went away. What a feeling. You need to get your free personalized fitting by one of their arch support specialists. For arch supports to be effective, they require a precision fit. That's why Good Feet arch supports are only available at the Good Feet store. You like them? You can wear them home. You have nothing to lose but the pain. So go to goodfeet.com today or go in and try the Good Feet feeling. Comfort, energy, performance, and pain relief, all from the Good Feet store.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Bo knows many people. He talks to the interesting ones on this show. This is Bishop and Friends.
Well, it's a Friday at 11:30. Every week at this time, we talk with our good buddy Doug Lesmerises. The podcast, Kings of Columbus, Kings of the North, all of it. He joins us on the Bryan Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. What's more interesting to you in this the settlement that the NCAA signed up this week? What they hope it does do, or what you think it does not do?
probably what it does not do. And I do think we have to keep sight of the fact that we're moving away from, 100 years of giving athletes nothing. And so this is significantly more than nothing. But the idea that they are sort of decreeing, is it 22% of the revenue share? Like, we'll share 22% of the revenue with the players in a world where every collectively bargained revenue sharing agreement in professional sports is basically 50-50, and they don't want to collectively bargain. They don't want to call them employees, and they still sort of are telling the athletes what they are willing to give them. It's certainly better than giving them nothing, but I just, how does that last? How is that the long-term answer? It's a good first step. It's better than nothing, but, this isn't it, right?
No, that's not it. This is not going to start up more litigation. It's not going to. There's nothing else in this country that says, well, you can only make this, and we're only going to give you that. This makes no sense whatsoever. Yeah, this is going to lead to a bunch of things. One thing that was just comical in this was some of these lines in regard to NIL, incentivize athletes to avoid booster payments. Take NIL market value. It's on the player to decide NIL market value. Doug, you're worth what someone's willing to pay you.
Now, but I will push back against that because, booster stuff is different. It's so much more complicated. But, if you sign a contract in the NBA, right?
Yeah.
You have a contract. It counts against your team's salary cap. There's a limit on things. And then your owner can't on the side, or a guy who just loves the Dallas Mavericks can't on the side just, give you $2 million. That's kind of like a nudge, nudge, wink, wink part of your salary, but it doesn't count. Yeah, you can go sell hamburgers, but you and that business have an actual agreement together. College is different than everything, but all kinds of pro sports put limits on what you can earn or that you've got to earn within a fair structure in the name of competitive balance and roster building. So I know what you're saying, but the more you get towards professionalism, the more we get towards structures and rules that do, quote, limit what you can earn. There's a lot of money out there, but right? Isn't that?
Well,
you can't do side deals, right? In the pros.
Correct. But that's also collectively bargained, and the nut that's given to the athlete isn't $20 million arbitrarily. It's usually 50% of income. So that's the deal that they don't want to avoid. That's the problem here. You got this president of Notre Dame. My God, his statement yesterday just comical. He just does not understand this at all, or is just unwilling. And he clearly understands. They're smart people, but they are just unwilling to call it what it is. And you think about it's here, take this and be happy with this, and then Congress come save us, and then nobody else sue us because we're going to give you this right now. And this is a lot, and it is. I'm not diminishing it. It's a lot more than they've ever got previously. But at the same time, they want all of the protection that the NFL has without collectively bargaining anything. Yeah. And then to put limits on what a guy can make from a booster NIL when you are putting a self-imposed limit on what you're going to pay them that wasn't collectively bargained, that's where you go cross-eyed.
I just think, how does any of it end without bargaining? That's
correct.
So any part of that, because once you get to collective bargaining, you give something, we give something, and then it's well, how can you really complain? You guys agreed to this together. Mm-hmm. So it's not together. That's the bottom line, right? Whatever the specifics are, the bottom line is it's take this. We're giving you this. It's not you're agreeing to it and we're agreeing to it because we sat down at the table together. And they just don't want to do that, but we're going to get there sooner than later. They got to sit at the table together, no matter how much the schools and presidents and NCAA doesn't want to do that.
Yeah. Do you think I don't think that this is going to affect, you think of the people who consume your content, the people who consume mine, I don't think it's going to affect them at all, really.
No, and I just say, the fans, you're allowed to ignore it. You're allowed to ignore it, but I do think, for an Ohio State audience, in the end, I think in a world where, when you're one of the big dogs and it's okay, we're now going to pay people based off the money that you actually make. It's not just going to be reliant on how much your boosters are willing to throw money around. That's a better – for the big dogs, this is better. We understand it's very difficult for everybody that's not a big dog. But for Ohio State fans, all right, Ohio State makes as much money as anybody. And so if now we're basing it on what you can pay based off your revenue, that's a good spot for Ohio State. Ohio State will be at the top of this mountain.
Yeah, I think the one thing that will be lost, and quite honestly, most of our audiences aren't paying attention to it, are some of the non-revenue stuff. You're not going to be able to spend that money in those sports. That's the one that's going to get dinged right away.
And it does bother me, like people, you see stuff on social media, people lamenting this ruling yesterday, or this, agreeing to this and saying, this is the end of college sports as we know it. This is the end of college football as we know it. And it's like, well, yeah, we had them play and didn't give them any money for 100 years. It is the end. But, like, what do you – yes, but are you lamenting it? If only we could go back to those days where the athletes were the reason all the money was made but got none of it. Weren't those the good – like, that's over, brother. Like, for real, if you're lamenting that, that's crazy to me. The horse is so far out of the barn, you can't even see him over the other side of the hill at this point.
Yeah,
so, yeah, it's going to change, but Title IX, 36 different sports, only 2 or 2.5 of which make any money. That's the thing about this, too. Whenever you do professional sports aren't also paying 30 other teams of athletes who don't make any money. So, like, I do think we have to acknowledge that college sports is vastly more complicated than any of this, and it is going to take some time to work it out, but there's sacrifices. But it starts with you've got to pay these players who are bringing in the money.
I used to do this bit. This is a decade old. But the bit was you had two choices. And I remember doing this with Rothman years ago. You had two choices. Either give back all the money and make it true student athletes, back to what it was in the 60s, right? The 50s. Or you had to privatize it. And you have to make it professional sports at the collegiate level and tie academics to it, fine. But that's it. And they're never going to get back the money. So the only way they're ever going to get control is to call it what it is. And this was one small step toward that, but certainly not an end. Another thing that happened this week that I found quite fascinating is, and it affected two different things that I pay attention. One I pay attention to a lot. The other one just kind of a little bit. And that is that we got to get used to primetime sports in what used to be our primetime windows. So the NBA on NBC deal is going to go basketball night in America on Sunday night. Yeah. Like when football's end, they're going to go basketball night in America. Then they're going to go UFL, and they're going to have live sports on Sunday nights. But the one that does affect us is Friday Night Football on Fox. I don't love Big Noon Kick. I don't like every game being at noon, but it was a brilliant decision by them to do it. And I think this is pretty brilliant too. And they used some of the former Pac-10, Pac-12 schools to do it. Ohio State avoided it for this year. I don't know for how long. What did you make of Fox's play onto Friday?
Yeah, so, right, there was a lot of constant. Football Friday night, that's for high school. I mean, we were all fighting about that, 6 years ago when the Big Ten Network started to think about this. I still do think Saturday's your college football day. And so Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, the schools that didn't get put on Friday, that's purposeful, I think, because they have, the leverage. But this is also one of those, like, hey, Purdue and Northwestern and UCLA and all these schools, you know how you're in our conference and you share all the money equally? Yeah, don't complain about Friday. We're not playing on Friday because we bring in the money. We're going to play on Saturday. But those windows where you're not competing with everybody, like I might not watch Illinois, UCLA on Saturday when I'm watching 9 other games. I'll watch it on Friday. So good for Illinois, good for UCLA, good for Rutgers, good for Washington, like good for them. But if you want to, that's what the money is for. I don't want to play on Friday. That's what the money is for. Once you sell yourself to a TV network, you're just programming. And in a world where, like, prime time for shows doesn't really exist, it's all streaming, that model's completely blown up. What's one way to get people to sit down at 8 o'clock at night and watch a thing? Live sports.
Yeah.
Welcome to the world.
Live sports and shows that we care about. Those are the only things that are live anymore. Everything else, you're going to watch it on your terms. Were you a Lost guy? Did you watch that show Lost on ABC?
Oh yeah, mama.
So it ended, me too. It ended 14 years ago today.
Oh.
There's a phenomenon. I mean, and also the other thing that was cool about that, Doug, is the way that show was covered. Right?
Yeah.
Like the writing about that show, whether it was Entertainment Weekly or all the television or major newspapers, they would write like recaps trying to decipher what happened on that show. You think there's any way that show gets greenlit now? They did 121 episodes.
No. And I mean, like, I miss it. Like if you could greenlight it in a window, like there's enough of people like us, old people like us, that it would still appeal to. But No, I mean, like the thing that does that now, like the only things that do that now are like The Bachelor, right? Like those kind of like reality show things where you can do week by week and maybe write about it. But like I miss that stuff.
Maybe a big HBO show.
And I even wonder about that. Like, is that going to happen again? Like what's the one right now? Right? I mean, I guess like the Game of Thrones spinoff, but that's over. Like, I don't even know if HBO is going to find that again. So I miss that. I love like sitting down once a week, and then I'm too dumb to understand this show I love. Let me read smart people analyze it for me. God, I love that, and I miss it. But we're old, though, brother. We're old, man.
we are old. Have a great weekend, buddy. Great talking to you as always.
Thanks, man. See you soon.
All right, that's our great friend Doug Lesmerises, Kings of the North, Kings of Columbus, the podcast, joining us on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. We hit 3 things on a Friday. Up next, Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
All the 10 TV people come over to our side of the building to take a deuce. That should tell you something about how we operate. The Fan.
This is the absolute worst time of the year to be dealing with joint pain. You can't do the stuff outdoors you love, the stuff you want to do, the hiking, the running, the playing on the beach. It's being around friends and family. Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. If you're tired of achy joints, you need to call my friends over at QC Kinetics before you agree to any risky surgeries or steroids or harmful medications. That's what tens of thousands of real-life patients around the country did, just like me with my knee. My dad did with his knee. Some of our friends and family who have done it with knees and shoulders in a variety of joints. They're out walking around now, enjoying the time outside. Or you could be like a guy like Chad, who wants to live life to the fullest, but his knees have been bothering him. He's been on pain meds forever. He went to crutches on his high school reunion, but that was before he found QC Kinetics, and now he's bouncing around like the pain is gone. And QC Kinetics has a national director in Dr. Mitchell Sheencup, who's been doing this for over 20 years. So go check him out at 614-208-4544. That's 614-208-4544.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
The Fan is your home for the Dallas Cowboys.
No, we're not. You can't say that. Take 2.
The Fan is your home of the Buckeyes. Yes, that's right. Same thing, but more playoff success. Now give Big Voice Guy another brandy. Thank you. The Fan.
It was a quiet night in Columbus, maybe a little too quiet. Me, Philip Flapper, plumbing detective. I was finishing up for the night when she walked in. Long hair, 2 legs, a couple of arms, a nose, elbows. Pretty standard equipment for this neighborhood. I looked at her, she looked at me, and then we did that thing where we both spoke at the same time. What can I do for you? I'm sorry, that was awkward. We went on to talk about clogs, funny odors, water going down the drain too slow. This is above my pay grade, I told her, and gave her this website, apexpros.com. They're the pros who knows, the kinds of plumbers who don't mind getting their hands dirty. And believe me, what's down those pipes is dirty. Ugh. Call the pros, Apex Pros. And that was it. She walked out of my life, using those legs I told you about earlier.
Hi, it's Alex, the friendly Apex Bear from Apex Pros. Apex plumbers are the pros who knows. ApexPros.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's got to be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. First Friday miracles are always better with Uncle Bo. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, Reese, what do we have on the poll?
The Daily Fan poll asks, of Ohio State football's road games in 2024, which one would you most want to attend? Michigan State, Oregon, Northwestern at Wrigley Field, or Penn State? Right now, 65% of respondents say the trip to Eugene is preferred over Michigan State, Northwestern, and Penn State. You got 22% saying they'd like to go to Wrigley to watch a football game. Again, like to go to a baseball stadium to watch a football game.
Hey, Nola Gold plays their rugby games in a former baseball stadium, I'll have you know.
Same. I mean, that's apples to apples.
Yeah, exact same thing.
I do think there is something kind of cool about a game at I think that's going to be kind of cool.
I think most
bludgeoning them at Wrigley.
Two of the most recent times they had to do one side only because there wasn't enough clearance in one end zone, and the other time I think a hole appeared.
Yeah, sinkhole. That they kept trying to pour stuff into it, and it kept getting bigger. And that was an Iowa Northwestern game. Kind of
no football games at baseball stadiums, please.
By the way, the greater Chicagoland doesn't have any place else to play.
Only there was another football field available,
and also it feels like Comiskey or whatever it's called, like that thing's got to be bigger than Wrigley, right? Wouldn't it be?
You're going to send Northwestern graduates to the south side of Chicago?
Well played. Well played. Where did ours work out? We had one on the Friday?
So yeah, at the top of the show, you had asked if the Friday of Memorial Day weekend, the best Friday on the calendar year. We got just north of 60 votes. No has 63% of respondents there. Day after Thanksgiving, Chris says he doesn't know if it's the best, but it's damn good. Travis says Labor Day because football is back.
Fair. All fair.
No, who cares?
No, who cares?
That's right. 3 things.
1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Custom Air. Custom Air. Custom Solutions. Custom Comfort.
Well, number one for me, it's all coming to an end. The school year coming to an end. The boys have a couple of days next week to kind of finish it out. Last lacrosse weekend this weekend in terms of they'll have some club stuff this summer, but in terms of playing for their school, that'll be it this weekend. And the realization that like a week from today, they're going to be home. And we have to find stuff for them to do, like chores. Like I told the blonde, like we got to have some daily chores for these kids. It's time. Now we talk about these things. How many we implemented? Probably not many, but the discussions are ongoing.
First one for me. In what world should a service fee for an order booking app be a percentage of the order? The software doesn't have to do any extra work whether I order one item or many items. In fact, I do all the work. I put in the order. It was supposed to be $18 off a $30+ order. And I was like, oh, that sounds like a pretty good deal. And I'm cool with, paying the additional delivery fee. That's a service. And of course, tipping the person. But there's no reason why the service charge should be 22% of the pre-discount total. Don't worry, though. An AI bot DM'd me from whatever company this was and patronized me a little bit and let me know that this scam is present in a lot of states they operate in. And I was like, well, that doesn't mean that it's a good business practice. How do I know it was an AI bot? This sentence. However, for details information, we would like to inform you. What the hell does that mean? Whatever. We ate at home last night.
I'll make this my first thing. Got a question on the chat from G Money, the YouTube chat, asking or saying that he won the $50 to High Bank and the gift card tour, the gift card and the distillery tour. Asks you, Bo.
Yeah.
What's a drink there I should try for a whiskey lightweight drinker?
Well, they're midnight Manhattan. Just go buy that bottle, and you're good to go because that's a ready-made cocktail. Everything they do there is so great. Honestly, if you're like the High Bank vodka is awesome. That passed the Blondes test. So go down that road if you prefer the clear alcohols versus the brown. But yeah, good job out of that. Number 2 for me. So the boys after practice last night, they wanted to go hop in the pool. So I took the cover off, and I kid you not, there was a bullfrog the size of a frying pan in the pool belly up. My guy, chlorine salt did not work for him. I don't know how he got in there. I don't know. It was brutal. And so what then started to happen was, well, Buddy Garrity spots the thing because he's out there with me, and now he wants a piece of it. And I'm like, I'm not picking up frog guts. I'm not doing that on a Thursday night. I'm not. So he had to be restrained. I was able to fish Jeremiah Bullfrog out and sling him into the woods. But that's the first time we've had one of those.
There are some toads that if dogs eat them, they get high. And
that's what I need.
Yeah, it's really not good for them.
Yeah.
Second one for me, I'm looking into doing a home project. So the guy came out and he gave me the estimates. And along with the estimates come with the contract. If I was like, yeah, let's go ahead and do it. And he told me, hey, read it over just so you know everything there. It's pretty standard stuff. And I understand that, all those contracts are to clarify and express who is responsible for what. But I think contracts should have one signee benefit to them. Like, how about in the event of X, you get a luau? We'll throw you a luau, something like that. Because most of the stipulations, they don't happen anyway. So what's the harm in something that is just fun in the agreement that in all likelihood is never going to have to be paid out?
Shameless plug. Tyvis and I are doing the Saturday Spectacular tomorrow at 10 a.m. Rothman and Biddle are coming up here in a couple of minutes. I wonder if they'll discuss Kobe Altman's kind of awkward press conference that's happening. It's finishing up right now in Cleveland.
The successful season where they fired their coach.
How does he get to survive all of it? I don't understand how he survives all of it, that he's the one. Finally, for me, number 3 for me, this is a plea from your Uncle Bo on what is usually a very, very fun weekend, and it should be. Get your Ubers, get your Lyfts, call your buddies. Don't drink and drive, kids. Everybody likes a cocktail. Everybody wants to have fun on Memorial Day weekend, absolutely. But know your limits. Shut it down. Get help. Don't drive, kids.
I second that as well. My last one, I guess these are all complaints today. The threshold for no longer being a prospect in Major League Baseball should be 2 games, in my opinion. Pirates pitcher Paul Skeens, he became the MLB's top prospect this week. He's already pitched well in 2 starts for Pittsburgh. In fact, the picture they put up on the graphic was him in a Pirates uniform. So he's no longer a prospect. He's a professional baseball player at the highest level. I had the similar thought with, this happens every once in a while, but Chet Holmgren, he was nominated for Rookie of the Year this year. I get it. He didn't play in any of the games, but he was part of an NBA organization all last season. If you're with the big club, you are no longer a prospect. You are a second-year player after that rookie year, even if you're injured. I think that there just should be how we view it.
Final thing, prospect. Yeah, I agree.
Final thing, Bo, G Money says thanks for the recommendation. On a personal note, I do think it looks trashy for the fine city of Upper Arlington to have chairs strewn about Northwest Boulevard a month before the 4th of July thing, but I'm not trying to yuck anyone's yum here. Just want to reiterate, if someone puts their chairs out there and they're tied to something or they're marked down or I guess knotted down, don't move them. Just be kind.
All I want is in the next decade for you to be the mayor of Arlington.
The Grand Marshal of the parade, at least.
Yeah, I want one of those 2 things to happen.
They've had some serious Columbus dignitaries and Olympic athletes be the Grand Marshal.
You're right in that wheelhouse.
I want you to do that, and I want you to be the mayor, and I want you to run it like Boss Hogg ran the Dukes of Hazzard. That's what I want. Total corruption.
Get in the car, too.
In Arlington. I want that car. I want the steer horns on the Cadillac. Let's get it done. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. Rothman and Ice up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Matty Ice has a large tattoo on his calf of LeBron eating a lion. I have nothing else to say. Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan. This is a Fan Action Update.
This Action Update is brought to you by Tipico, gambling problem code 1-800-GAMBLER. The first college football game of the year is August 24th, a new era with a 12-team playoff. Here are the odds for teams to make the first 12-team playoff. Ohio State is minus 650 to make it, plus 440 to miss. Michigan is minus 110 to make the playoff and minus 110 to miss. Oregon minus 250 to make the playoff. Penn State minus 142. For your Tipico Action Update, I'm Scotty Vegas. Every shot, every goal, ESPN Bet has fans covered for the biggest moments on the road to the championship. The exclusive sportsbook of ESPN is the only place to find special offers and promotions from your favorite ESPN shows and personalities throughout the playoffs. New users can get a bet reset up to $1,000 in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. Download ESPN Bet today. What a play. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem code 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
The
delicious ice-cold taste of Dr. Pepper has a lasting effect on people. Lindsay from Sacramento said,
Pro tip, 40 degrees is the perfect temperature for an ice-cold Dr. Pepper.
why is 40 degrees the perfect temperature for Dr. Pepper? We brought in Sue from Duluth, Minnesota to tell us.
Oh, yeah, I know a thing or two about cold. Oh, that right there is the perfect kind of ice cold for Dr. Pepper. I'd share that with my friend Nancy. She likes Dr. Pepper, too, you know. My coldest...
All right, that'll be all, Sue. Having a perfect temperature for your Dr. Pepper? It's a Pepper thing. Inspired by real fan posts.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Do you ever worry about a sales guy trying to sell you on something that you really don't need, or even worse, sell you on a product that turns out to be low quality? I absolutely hate that. But you don't have to worry about that with Newman Roofing. They work hard to eliminate that fear, as they're going to be honest with you about what you really need and what product works the best. When we got our roof, we sat down with Tim and his team, and they showed us 3 to 4 different styles. We talked about prices, we talked about quality, and what would best fit our needs. They were fully transparent about it, and we were so happy with the entire process. They're not going to overpromise and underdeliver. We got more than what we bargained for, which was one heck of a quality roof. The Newman sales team, they try to do things right from the very beginning, and you're going to be greeted with a friendly voice who's focused on your needs. And you can see that because of the hundreds of 5-star reviews and why they're one of the most trusted family names in Central Ohio. So give them a call at 614-NEW-ROOF or check them out online at newmanroofing.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free